Hello, haunted coachman. He's the haunted coachman. He's the coachman who's totally haunted. Yeah. First one in. Got a hair in my mouth. Right, what we got then? Fun with Dick and Jane. Yeah. Pinned chat. Top chat. Pinned chat. Okay. Whatever. Hey, Jimmy Wilcox. Live chat. Neil H. Oh, there are more people chatting. See, but this is the thing. See, it says top chat. And then you have live chat. But what's top chat? Top chat. Who gets to decide what's top chat? I don't get to decide what's top chat is. Somebody else does. I don't know. Anyway, Neil H., Andrew Clark, Twig1, Steco, Stephen the Truth Seeker, hi mate, Stranger Times, Virus Eater, Debbie Joe, Wurzel Stinkleteats, Vacant Haven, Donna Winnie Witch, God, Lucifer, yeah, and I'm having cheap beer as a reconciliation for my wasted journey to Reading. He got in touch at 8:30 and berated me for saying that I slagged him off, saying he was sketchy, and this is not fair for somebody that has issues, let's say, issues, for somebody that has issues, a young man that has issues, I think he said. Where's my phone gone? Oh, there it is. I'll tell you what he said now. And my response to that was, well, your problems should not be my problems. And by going dark on the phone, you cost people time and money. And this has happened before. So you need to think about saying no and not going on explores with people if you have an issue, which means you can't, for whatever reason, make it because you're making your problems everyone else's problems. And sorry, you need to learn to say no. If you don't want to go, then say no. Don't say yes, and I'll see you at 7, after 7, and then go dark. So yeah, here we are. It was 8:20. So I'd have been waiting till 8:20 to hear from him to probably find out that he wasn't going to bother. So anyway, he said he's going to pay the 30 quid petrol for me, so we shall see whether he does it. He might have done it. And I did say I would take down that video because it names him. But I'm very concerned about the idea of me helping promote him by putting his name forward on things. Because if he's going to do this to more people, I don't like people getting to know people who might do stuff like that. So I don't think that's a good idea. So, we have to be a little bit circumspect about giving people that sort of information to put people in touch with people if they're going to do shit like this, because it's not good. It is not good. Hello, Dennis. On the road, he says, just popped in to say hi. Hello. Yes, well, Mr. Dennis, you get all the top information. You get premier information. Yeah. So I'm going to take that video down because he has got in touch and he's slightly apologetic. But as I say, it's not my problem. I've given him more than enough chances. I'm just really glad I didn't go on some of the other things that you wanted me to go on, because I'd have spent even more money and even more time to go on them for him to probably not turn up. And this is the problem. He has got issues, big time. And, he's had more than enough chances now. And he's met me on one occasion. So there should not be awkwardness or weirdness from that. There shouldn't be any of that. So that should not be an excuse as far as I'm concerned. Let me just see if I'm just curious whether he sent that. Or not. He might have done. No. Oh. So I'll probably have to wait for that. Yeah, that'll come eventually, I suppose. But look, I gotta say, dude, you know, you have got some problems, and I do not like you mingling with the people in my forums and things like that. If you're gonna be inviting them or talking to these people and inviting them on things that you then don't turn up. So I'm going to restrict you off my forums because I don't want people getting screwed over. Okay, so understand why I'm doing it. Okay, it's not to have a go at your problem. Okay, it's just because I don't want you to interface with people that you're going to give this issue to in the future. Okay, that's why I'm doing it. If you tell me down the line that you've sorted yourself out, then we'll look at it down the line. But at the moment, you know, I don't really want you to be kind of interfacing with people who are hanging on my forums, because if it pisses me off, it could piss a lot of other people off as well. So, right. So sadly, I am now pressing delete comment and remove member. Okay. So I'm going to delete your stuff. There we go. Sad, isn't it? I don't really want to have to do this sort of stuff, but unfortunately it is a problem. Okay. So there we go. Anyway, let's have a look at what people are saying in the channel. Now I'm going to come back over here. I'm just having a look at the price of these Raycons. I'm going to put you on live screen a minute. Share screen. Yeah, whatever. Share the screen. Which one? Screen 2? Screen 2? No, screen 1. Screen 1. Right, okay. Screen 1. There we are. Now, what I cannot work out is these Raycons, look, these E50s are only £18.98 on eBay. 19 quid, £18.43. Yet the real price for these is more like 84 quid. So how come there are all these £18.98 when Raycon do not sell anything for £18.98? There's only one reason for this that I can think of. And if you go on the Raycon site, right, look, the E25s are £63, okay? And these ones, which is probably the E50, let's just have a look, E55 and 95, right? So how is it possible at all that there's £18.98? They're fake. They're completely fake. These are not real, and you will have a very, very substandard performance on these, and they probably have noise and hiss, and they'll be crap, and they'll disconnect, and they'll be shit, and the battery life will be rubbish, because they're not at all real. And yet there are tons and tons and tons of fake ones here on eBay. Now, yet again, eBay does not deal with this. eBay does not deal with fake batteries. eBay does not deal with they do not deal with fake lithium batteries, fake ones, you know, not 3,000 milliamp hours. They'll be 200 milliamp hours. Yeah. So they last you like 3 minutes in a torch. Yeah. Instead of being an hour and a half. Yeah. They don't get rid of this shit. They know it's fake. There are batteries on there that are claiming to be 100,000 milliamp hours, you know, shit like this. They don't exist. There are no batteries of this type that are over 3,000 milliamp hours. So eBay should be able to search for anything over 3,000 and just delete, because they're fake. They don't exist. It's easy to determine what are fakes. And let me have a look at batteries now on eBay, right? Let's just tap. Hang on, I'll just show you because I want you to see this, okay? Okay, so don't buy batteries on eBay. They're fake, okay? Don't buy batteries on eBay. It's an absolute problem, and they are not in any way, shape, or form interested in dealing with this problem, okay? So let's have a look now. So if I say dial in 18650 battery, right? Let's have a look what we got, right? Okay, so this brand is bullshit, right? For a start, anything by this brand, right, is bullshit. Okay, and they don't show you. They're purposely not showing you the brand name. Look, see, every angle is not showing you the brand name. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Because if you knew what the brand name was, which is what is it? Fire. I can't remember what they call now. Fire something brand, and they they are literally the most useless batteries. Yeah, right now look at, for instance, right. This is 3,400. This is a real Panasonic battery, right? And they're saying there's a 3,600. So they're trying to, two of them for 4.99. Yeah. So these are £2.50 each. You can't buy them for that sort of money. They don't exist. They cannot be purchased for that sort of money. They're fake. Yeah. And they've already sold 2,629 of these fake batteries. That's just one company. Yeah. eBay, you complain, they don't remove them. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look at the other brands, right? So there we are. Samsung, that's a realistic sort of things. Look, oh look, 6,800 milliamp hours. Look, 6,800. Yeah, they don't make 6,000. Look, 9,900. They don't make them. They don't make them bigger than 3,400. Yeah, so they do not exist. Ultrafire. There we are. Ultrafire. They don't exist. Yeah. 9,000. 4,800 doesn't exist. Yeah. 5,300 doesn't exist. 9,900 doesn't exist. You'll get them 10,000s, you'll get them 15,000s. Yeah. They don't exist. Nobody's ever made a battery like that. Yeah. 6,800 don't exist. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, how can it be that tens of thousands of these batteries are being sold every day on eBay, and eBay does nothing to stop this absolute sham of wasting people's monies and selling them substandard, inferior products? How can eBay not deal with it based on the fact that the information is there saying the sizes, and it's quite clear that it's not at all the spec? Well, the reason I tell you about this is because I use these in my torches. If I had a battery from them saying 9,800 and it lasted like a hundredth of the time of this battery here, we'd have a problem, wouldn't we? I'd be returning it. I'd be complaining. But how many people out there don't bother to complain, don't bother to return, don't bother to report it to eBay? And do eBay even listen? Do they care? Yeah, it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong, and it should be stamped out. And eBay are so out of order for allowing this to go ahead. They are so utterly, utterly out of order for allowing that to go ahead when a simple search should be telling them fake, fake, fake. By the size of the batteries, you can just tell it because they don't exist. Those batteries do not exist at those sizes. Yeah. So it's ridiculous, isn't it? So, they, and as somebody said, they can actually be dangerous as well because they're not even made out of the real materials. Often they're filled with sand. They're just filled with sand to make them feel heavy. Yeah, right. You go inside there, you don't know what you've got inside there. Yeah, and it could, if charged incorrectly and not got the correct type of pressure container, because these have got pressure containers, so you can't bend them and you can't break them. But without that, they could be dangerous. They could catch fire. So anyway, there we are. Ryan, how you doing, man? So yeah. Hey Ryan, guess what? I went there tonight and matey boy never turned up and turned his phone off. So wasted my time going over there. Can you believe that? Can you believe that shit? Really? Yeah. What am I drinking? It looks a bit flat. It's not actually. It's Gallaroo. It's just cheap Lidl's beer. It's not flat, but it's not very fizzy either. Look. It does have fizz. Anyway, so I'm going to put a link in the channel for... for this place that we're in now. If I can work out where the link is. How do I do it? Invite. Oh, there we are. Invite. Copy that to clipboard. That's it. Right. Let's put it in here. There we go. So if somebody wants to come on, we will have a chat. But I'm going to say, if it's the same old faces that have been on quite a few times, including earlier on this evening, I'm going to go no, because you've already been on quite a bit. So there's only so much promoting your channels we can do, and we need to give everybody else a little chance. So I'm going to circulate it around to keep it fair, and we're not going to promote the same sort of channels again and again and again. We'll have to keep it fair. So yeah. So anybody want to come on? How's the boat thing going, mate? Well, yeah, I meant to go picking it up. Now, let me bring it up. I'm going to show you what it looks like, right? I'll show you what it looks like, but I have to be careful because I don't want to. Yeah, somebody wants to come in. I'll let them in then. I see a hidden history. Oh, come on. I just told you no. I just said not to do this, yeah? You're not listening, are you? Bloody hell. So, yeah, okay. You were already on earlier on. There he goes. Look, there you go. It's like, honestly, I'm starting to get people want to just hang on to kind of promote their own channels. Like, Matt, promote. And it's like, yeah, all right, whatever. And then they, I'm not saying these guys, but yeah, I promote some people and then, yeah, we know how that goes. Yeah. Yeah, look at bigclive.com. Oh, the Scottish guy. The guy is he from Scotland or is he from the Isle of Man? I think he might be from the Isle of Man. And he's got a very big beard. And he talks like this a lot. And he's like, well, we'll have a look inside this battery and we'll see what's in there. Yeah, and that's bigclive.com. Yeah, so he's like, look at this. It's very dangerous. Oh, that could blow up. Yeah, bigclive.com. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, man, Ryan, coming on if you want. Get yourself on here. All these low subscriber YouTubers, get yourself on here and give yourself a chance. But yeah, there we are. Look. But we'll get some new faces on here. Let's get some new faces, some people we haven't spoken to before. Come on, and but you gotta have a webcam. So that's pointing at you. It's rude, isn't it? Pointing, but anyway. That time he was scraping the asbestos in the Wilex consume unit. Big Clive was a bit of a legend. Yeah, I think he's mocked up some of his little explosions and things. I don't think they're all. I think he does it for effect. I mean, I'm still trying to find out for certain whether or not that radioactive rations thing was a joke. Whether the radioactive MREs, that they would give him a little plutonium stick that when it was exposed, it would heat your ration up for you. And it's like, it's a bit of an urban myth. I'm sure it's not true, but we shall see. But anyway, yeah, if you want to come in, right, let's get this thing up so I can show you what the boat's going to look like. But I've got to be a bit circumspect because I don't really want to. I don't want to go giving too much away about things because then people start going a bit weird and stalky if you do that. So let me just hang on. Yeah, that'll do. Right. Yeah, so let's have a look at that. Yeah, that'll do. Right, so get that ready. Right. Is that going to work? Sort of. Yeah, there we go. That'll do. Right, there we go. No, it won't. It won't. Because if I do that, then you will see the details. No, hang on. I'm going to have to do this a different way. Bear with me. S. Right, okay. Let's try this then. Oh, it won't download it. It won't save the image. Really? It won't save the image. Fuck. What? You can't be serious. Well, I'm not allowed to save a copy of this image. Really? Is that going to do it? Oh, it worked then. Right. Let me do it a different way, okay? Let me do this a different way. Like this. Let me do... no. Oh, God alive. It's so painful sometimes, isn't it? It is really painful trying to get things to work. Perhaps work a little bit. Can you work for me? There we go. That's it. It's a low quality image, but I will put it up on the screen for you because you asked. By the time I get it up on the screen, it's a bloody waste of time actually doing it, but there we go. Right, share screen, share screen. Which screen? This screen. Allow. There it is. Right. So that is the boat. Right. It's a low res image, it's shit image, but that is going to be the new boat. And as you can see, it's got a console. You sit on, wheel, controls, proper controls, and it's got, this is the important bit, it's got the solid hull. So that'll get it coming up out of the water. So I'll be able to whiz along. I'll be able to whiz along. So there we go. And that's it. So is anyone going to come in then? Nobody's coming in. It's just going to be me. We can't see what's happening. Need to do a pub meet. Yeah, well, I'll do a pub meet in Devizes, right? I'll do a pub meet so I don't have to drive millions of miles so that nobody turns up. And if nobody turns up, I will just have a drink there myself. I'll do a pub meet. Yeah, I will. I will do a pub meet, but I ain't going to drive all the way to your town to do it because honestly, I'm getting pissed off. Hey, Urban. How you doing? Living at Urban. How you doing, man? Hey, Cyrus Carter. All the way to your town to do it. Well, hey, Mr. Cyrus Carter, you'll have to turn your volume down now coming through. Hey, Urban. How you doing? Living at Urban. How you doing, man? Hey, Cyrus Carter. All the way to your town to do it. Look, you don't even know he's on. Cyrus Carter, you'll have to turn your volume down.
Cool. Can you hear me?
I can, yes. You're still coming out though. I can still hear it echoing out through your television, so you have to mute it. And if you've got headphones, even better because it does echo sometimes if you're not careful. Oh, I can still hear it echoing out through your television, so you have to mute it. And if you've got headphones, even better because it does echo sometimes. I can just hear myself from 20 seconds ago now. Here he comes. This is a professional guy. He's a professional. What's he got up in his thing? It says Arcoid. Arcoid.
How do?
How you doing, ma'am?
You okay?
Yeah, ma'am. What's that? Arcoid. Up in the background then. Arcoid. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Still echoing.
Yeah. That sounds like a bit of a Liverpool accent going on there, is it? I only got like a couple of syllables, but I reckon that's probably like a Liverpool, or something like that.
Everything's struggling.
Struggling? Is it Manchester or Liverpool?
Liverpool.
Liverpool. I was right.
So where's that?
Yeah, you're all right.
Liverpool. Yeah, man.
So how are you doing then?
I'm good. I was just I was watching you earlier on, and like the guy didn't turn up. That's disgusting. That.
It's a bit of a shame, isn't it? I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because I'm a softie, and he said he'd send me the 30 quid because he knows he's done wrong. So it's like, yeah, I took the video down, but it's like naughty boy. Hey, we got a guy called Section 77 as well. And he's muted. He's muted himself. I haven't done it.
There we go.
He goes. Hello, Section 77.
Hey, everybody. How's it going, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. So
Yeah.
where are you
Sorry, go
from?
on.
Section 77.
North
Managed to
Yorkshire.
work out. I was going to say, if you spoke a couple more words, I'd probably try and work it out. But yeah, well done. North Yorkshire. North
Yeah.
Yorkshire, meet Liverpool, meet Wales via
buddy.
Wiltshire. Yeah.
Ah, nice.
So have you guys got channels then? Cyrus, have you got a channel? Do you do Urbex or?
No, I interview homeless and just move around the country and just ask about.
You interview homeless people? Wasn't a trick question. You interview homeless people?
Yeah, it just keeps on doubling. How'd you stop that?
I don't know. Shouldn't really. I mean, I'm not hearing it now. You sound perfect to me. But are you playing a YouTube video in the background whilst you've got this going? Because you should only have the StreamYard going. Don't have a YouTube in your browser in the background. Yeah, get rid of the YouTube.
I've got rid of it now.
It's good now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, magic.
Magic. Sorry, I had a different window open, as you said.
I'm not just an old baldy. I'm a bit of a computer bastard as well. Oh.
Yeah,
I can go and get another one of these actually. So I'll go and get one in a minute. I don't get my boat tomorrow, but yeah, I'm gonna go and get that new boat. So yeah,
your videos are
we're
good.
gonna be driving down and picking it up. Well, thank you very much. So Section 77, have you got a YouTube?
Yeah, Stranger Times. It's all about. Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
Yeah. So it's all about paranormal stuff, ghosts, UFOs, aliens, a few sort of conspiracies, that type of thing. I've only been going a couple of months, so yeah.
Are you a believer, or would you like to believe? You want to believe, as the X-File said.
Honestly, I've had my own experiences. I've seen a few different things that I can't really explain. I've been in the military as well. I'd say 85%. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah,
open-minded. Yeah, you're not.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, same here.
You've got to sit on the fence and weigh everything up either side. Do you know what I mean? You can't just look at one side of it. You've got to take it all in and just work on the evidence that's there. So yeah, it's interesting. It really is. It's good.
I'm so tempted to go without having a bit more beer, but I reckon I'm going to do it. So can you chat amongst yourselves for like 20 seconds whilst I go and get a beer? Can I have 4 beers?
So
Thank you.
Section, you were saying get into paranormal, but you don't really believe in 100%.
Say that again, sorry, bud.
So you're into paranormal like yourself, but you're not really 100%.
Yeah,
I am. I'm the same.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
You want to believe, you hope it's true,
yeah.
but you never see anything yourself. So it's when am I going to see it? When is it going to happen?
Yeah. Like for me, I have seen a few sort of stuff like that. I've seen lights in the sky, apparitions, stuff like that. So yeah, it's extremely interesting. It really is.
Yes, there's plenty of like haunted places apparently in Liverpool and Merseyside, but
yeah, definitely. Well, you got all the tunnels under Liverpool, ain't you, as well? So
yeah, and the famous orphanage in Newton Park. That's literally a stone's throw from me. That's nice. I'm in Everton, and that's like 7 minutes away.
Nice. Who do you support? Football?
Have you been there? Speaking about Matthew, have you been there?
Everton.
No, the orphanage in Tuebrook.
Doesn't ring any bells. No, I've not done a hell of a lot, up the country, to be honest. I mean, I am very much based around. I'm just putting my headphones back in. Very much based around Wiltshire and Wales, and people sort of say to me like, I was offered, did I want to go to Scotland, and did I want to do this and that, and I'm like, well, I could do, but with so much stuff in your own backyard, I'm one of these that's kind of like I'm not about the glamour of, oh, look how far you can go. I'm about doing things in my backyard, really. And when all that's done, then I'll think about, going somewhere else. But I reckon, South England and round by me in a circle up like Birmingham to Wales and down to Plymouth and round. I reckon there's so much stuff down by us.
There's enough.
Liverpool is a bit of a bloody drive, to be honest. Manchester, Leeds, Liverpool, and anything north of that is like, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with up there at all. In fact, there's probably some really nice scenery once you get up, like Lake District and beyond. It's really nice, but get a head on that.
Oh my god!
Bloody hell.
It's atrocious.
A flake.
Is there a flake in there?
Sort of having a shave now.
Oh. So what's your next adventure then, Matt?
Well, I've been on something I can't talk about at the moment. I've been on something recently that I can't really say too much about it, but it's going to be pretty mad when it comes out. And yeah, I've got to get my arse into gear to edit that, actually, because a lot of it was like finished up recently. So yeah. And
Sounds
I can't.
interesting.
It is kind of interesting, actually, but I'm going to have to be very circumspect about it for some time because it's a sensitive subject. Let's put it like that. It's a sensitive subject, so I've got to kind of time delay things, and eventually I will be able to tell more of a story than I'm going to be telling now.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be slightly metered, and there's reasons for it. People will understand later on, and they won't even know because it's going to be one of the things I slip in there, but they're not going to know there's a lot more story behind it than they're getting, But eventually, when the time is right, I'm going to go, remember this? Here's the other bit of the story that you didn't get told. So yeah.
Yeah, nice.
A quick question, Matthew. So on the latest videos, you couldn't actually get into the cinema, and then the version you did.
Yes.
On the drone footage, you could actually see
loads of ways.
Could you see where you were going wrong, and could you actually find where you were meant to be going in via the drone footage?
It helped a lot, and it really does help to have the drone because I sent it up, and a lot of that drone footage I cut out because it was quite boring because I was literally just focusing on edges, parts of the building and moving up and around, and I was scanning the whole building, then moving around and going from a different angle and sort of scan. But it's super useful.
Yeah, it's really helpful. You could see everywhere.
It was really helpful. Yeah, because bear in mind, a lot of these places, I mean, they're designed specifically not to be seen from the street, because if everybody could see what was up there, they'd be going, oh Christ, there's a way to go in up there. They're designed to not show you that there's a lot of ways in, on the roof. But with a drone, it's very obvious then. But there were a bunch of kiddies that when I went down there, that's where I met Derelict Plymouth Unearthed, actually, because I was hanging around that cinema looking at it thinking, oh, I wonder if I could get in there. I wonder if there'd be a way to do it. And there were these guys in a car, and I thought they were security. And I went away and came back, and I said, are you guys going to be going in there? And they said, why? And I said, well, because I'd love to go in there. And they were like, oh, well, we might be trying to. We have been in there before. And then that's how we got friendly, because they were sitting there looking at the place thinking, how could we get back in there then? Because it had been many years since they'd been in there. And through sort of hanging around there, one day we were chatting to some kids, and we said, well, yeah, we haven't found a way in. And they said, oh, it's easy. And we said, what, you know a way in? They went, yeah. And next thing you know, this kid like shimmied up up the drain pipe. And that's the drain pipe that they put the wood over that has CCTV written on it, you see in there, because the kids were shimmying up that drain pipe. So that's why they put the wood on it, so they could no longer shimmy up the drain pipe. So what happened there? Crazy kids. And I mean, it was pretty dangerous in many respects, what they were doing. I mean, it was far safer for us to use the ladder. Because, I mean, this is the thing, like people would say, like, oh, that's going equipped and stuff like that. And I don't know whether or not it is actually going equipped, because we're not breaking in. We're literally going into something that somebody else has got into years ago. It's like those entranceways are all open. But those kiddies told us the way, but they described it to us, and the guys from Derelict Plymouth unearthed, they couldn't get their heads around it because they'd always gone up and in, and that was it. They were in. And these kiddies were going, you go up on the roof, right on the top, and you walk across the roof, and you get down the other side, and then you drop in. That can't be right. That can't be right. Because they're telling you the way that we used to get in, which is inside. But then it wasn't matching, because I said, no, I'm sure they said up over the roof and down the other side. And they were going, no, I think they mean inside, down, and through a door, and like we used to go. And they were trying to relate it to how they knew how to go in. Turned out the kids were exactly right. And I've got a pretty bad memory, but I remembered what the kids said, and it was exactly as they said it. You have to go over the roof, drop down the other side, and drop down and go in. That's how you get in. So it took a long while because we didn't believe you could go over the roof. And looking at the roof, you're thinking that's fiberglass. And
well, if that goes in, if that did break, how far would the drop have been?
I don't know. It could have been into a ceiling space, which then might have gone. You'd have fallen through and gone down again. But we did say, I said to Simon, who was up for it, I said, if we do it, we'll put a rope around you. And we'll reel you out, sort of as you go across. So if you go through, you're only going to go down a certain distance, But turned out that whilst I was away, Simon got the stomach to go and have a look for himself, and actually just walked across and worked out it was safe along that central channel. But I would never recommend anyone try it though, because we might have been pushing our luck. I don't know. Yeah. So
always let the thinner one go first.
And they said, yes, it's definitely not bouncing at all. And it seems like there's a support there. But I think, places like that, they used to have like markings that would tell you like this is the way to go, or at least a different like a rubber paint on it or something. So you'd walk along a certain way. But there's no markings like that at all. So it is kind of like, really, from this ladder to that ladder, we're meant to telepathically know that there's an unmarked line between it, which is safe, which doesn't to me sound good. And I did say to the guys, I said, why don't you get down, walk all the way to the edge of the building, walk around the edge, which is where the bricks are, and walk back across at the far end. But they just went straight across the middle. So fair enough. They tested it. I'm happy to walk across it if they are first. Yeah. Sorry.
That's it.
Can I maybe off topic, but unless you want to jump in section. So sometimes you'll show a place and then everyone knows where it is. And then they can see there's literally stuff in there still, items worth money and stuff. So have you ever done a tour or a little explore, and then someone has gone in later on, and then I seen him, and then he told me where to go in, and then people have stole stuff or smashed stuff up, whatever, fucked the place up.
Yeah, people have definitely screwed places up after we've gone in. They've watched the videos.
Because they know how to get in, they've seen where you are.
Yeah, I'm sure they've kind of worked out. The thing is, if it's got a lot of valuable stuff in it, I often won't show how we got in. I'll just sort of say, here we are, and then boom, we're in, sort of thing. If it's just a kind of like a blank, empty space in there, and there's not much in there that's of any worth that anyone would want to nick, and it would be hard to damage it or set it on fire, then I will I'll sort of like show how we went in. But because there isn't much that people can do. But sadly, you have got that element of people, and they're definitely out there.
Every time I watch one of the videos, I think, do you know where the gaff is now? Is someone going to go and fuck it up, burn it, rob stuff, whatever?
Yeah, we've had problems by a number of the places we've gone to, such as the Guildhall, and also as a care home in Bristol. Weston-super-Mare, and they got set on fire. One of them burnt through from the ceiling down to the basement, but it was being done anyway. The whole place was meant to be being done, but it had been on like a standby for umpteen years where they hadn't done any work on the building, and then now they're kind of like, oh shit, we better do something with that building then, because it's kind of like sat right in the middle of Bristol, and nobody's done anything with this building for such a long time, and then there's a little fire there, which is terrible, obviously, because it's a very historic building. But because of that little fire, then, oh shit, we better do something with that before somebody sets it on fire and we lose the whole thing, you know.
It's like that with a lot of places.
Yeah, you know, these developers and people who own these premises, they got so much money, they don't care. They got all these properties, and it's like, oh, which one do you do first? I don't know. And it's like they just sit back and leave them for 20 years. You know, 20 odd years, some places like just left. Crazy. So unfortunately, the vandalism and the fires can sometimes stimulate, which is not a good thing to kind of promote that people do that, because it really is not a good idea, because you're going to lose historic buildings and things. But I have heard this argument put forward by people who do raves, and they do them in warehouses and things like this. And I'm thinking like, oh, really? I never knew that warehouse was empty. And it's like they seem to find these empty warehouses, but these warehouses have been empty forever. Yeah. And for some reason, nobody's hiring it out. Maybe it's too much money. They're asking too much money, or it's an investment that somebody's sitting on, but they don't want to do anything with it. It's just there for tax reasons, and they do nothing with it. And then the people come along and do a rave in it, and then sadly, they often get smashed up and spray painted and things like that, which I disagree with. But then it kicks people in the arse, and suddenly that place is rented out really quickly after that. Bang. You know, it gets done up and rented out, because it's better to be rented out because it's in use.
Yeah.
Rather than sitting there unused. And I see that time after time. You know, it's a catch-22. You know, the ravers, you know, they're out of order for some of the things they do, but it's like people that cut the hedges. You know, I see them with a tractor with one of these arms on it, going and just cutting off the tops of the hedges, and they just decimate the hedge. So any animals that were trying to live in that hedge are just like, there's nothing there now. There's no protection. It's just like decimated. And I stopped a farmer once. I said, "Why are you doing this for, mate? What are you doing that for?" And he said, "Oh, I get paid to do it." And I said, "Yeah, but you're decimating it. I mean, you're not trimming it or pruning it. You're decimating it." And he said, "Yeah, it helps promote growth." And it's like, it's a bit sad like that. In the same sense, it's like that farmer's getting paid by the EU to decimate all these hedges that are apparently good for wildlife, yeah? But out of it comes new growth. Yeah, but let's not go there.
I've got a little question for everyone. So, I don't know if you know the Littlewoods building on Edge Lane in Liverpool.
I don't know.
No, huge buildings, Littlewoods pools forever, massive buildings. Okay. Apparently Channel 4 were coming there. They were going to make it into film studios, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, right.
They dropped out. Next minute, there's a massive fire. The whole thing's burnt down. It's still structural safe. You've still got the 4 walls. But soon as one jumped out, the building gets on fire, and now there's nothing to do with it. Apparently someone will one day, but do you ever see that with buildings and structures? They'll try and take it down just because they can rebuild on it.
Yeah, definitely.
They let things go to ruin. And if they can't be ruined by time, then you get your copper thieves and things, and I do believe copper thieves are a real thing. They're not an invented thing, i.e., done for damaging purposes, damaging buildings on purpose. But they could be a contingent of people who run buildings like that, who send people in who look like copper thieves to damage the building. Because it'll just send water down, the whole building will just be trashed, and then they've got a good argument then to the council. Look what's happened to our building. You know, can we have planning permission? You said no, and you're being really restrictive, and now look, it's all damaged, and so we need to have special permissions and relaxations to do this building. And it's a game, you know, for these building developers. It's a game. We'll either sit on it and make it an eyesore, and we'll make everyone go like, you know, why is this building not being developed? And if we don't get what we want, we'll damage it ourselves, or we'll set it on fire ourselves, or, you know, we'll just wait for it to crumble so people sort of like let us do what we want.
So that was my point. Do you think councils and establishments will see an eyesore and think, well, we need to get rid of it, so we'll do it ourselves? Because I've slightly witnessed it once. Where I live on Everton Road, there was an old school. It had been there for years. It needed pulling down. It went on fire. The police were there, the ambulance, everyone was there, but they weren't putting the actual fire out.
Yeah.
They were just spraying away from it. So it was like a show. It was like a game. Oh, look, it's gone on fire. And then the week later, it was gone. They pulled the whole thing down, but they weren't putting the actual fire out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they weren't doing it properly. It was
No,
kind of
they weren't
almost
putting the fire out.
half done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good point. I mean, I dare say that it's hard to prove. It's hard to prove because there are conspiracies, and you do hear these stories about the councillors getting like little backhanders.
You need to pull a building down, yeah.
And then they turn a blind eye to something, and you hear about the Freemasons and things like that. They reckon a lot of these decisions about who can build where under what conditions are all it's often big business around the golf club or the Freemasons. It's like these people make these decisions whether the public like it or not, or whether it's involved with planning the correct way, which is supposed to be, it's meant to be done the right way. And these people are like, they'll never give us permission to do this, or they'll make us do it the expensive way, and we don't want to do it like that. So let's arrange for a little accident to happen, and then we can just do it our way then.
It definitely 100%
it definitely happens. It definitely happens.
Yeah, it does, definitely.
In the same way as I haven't got house insurance, and I haven't got property insurance, and I don't have insurance on the things that I have, apart from my car, because I'm forced to. But some people go out and get insurance, and they use it because they make sure they're always smashing their stuff up.
That's true. Yeah, it is.
That is true.
And you see people with new this and new that and new the other, and it's not necessarily because they're always like affording it. It's because they've got it well insured.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's disgusting. I mean, a similar thing was talked about with the 911, the trade buildings. That they were just reinsured for a fantastic amount of money
the day before,
just before they came down, and that building 7 was definitely pulled down.
Oh, 100% was. I've researched 9/11 since literally since 2005 onwards, and still ongoing. And if anyone thinks that a fire brought them 2 towers down, then it's the ultimate.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
It's impossible.
I remember watching. Oh bloody hell! It was on my black and white TV, and I was watching it live. And I remember the BBC reporter saying that the Trade Center 7 had come down, and it hadn't. It was still there.
It was still in the background.
Just unbelievable.
The BBC said it had come down, but it wasn't. It was still in the background.
Yeah.
World Trade Center number 7.
Yeah.
Researched for about 15 years.
Thank you, Thermocouple, for your NZ $20, New Zealand $20. Nice. So I will say that's about a £10, just average exchange rate guesstimate there. 10 UK punts. Yes. So thank you very much.
How far did you have to drive before, Matt?
Where I went just now?
Yeah, before.
I don't know, actually. I haven't worked that bit out. Let me just bring this back off the screen. Let me just tell you how much it is then, right? Because I don't even know. Reading. So where I got to in Reading, on the edge, Reading, which is often pronounced as Reading, and then Google changes its mind and it calls it Reading. So it goes, you will be coming in 15 minutes to Reading. 15 minutes to Reading, and then it goes in 15 minutes to Reading. And it's like, can't make his mind up. Anyway, it's 55.9 miles, 1 hour, 19 minutes drive. So it's 100 miles round trip.
For nothing.
Wasted, yeah. Or maybe not wasted if you look at the point of, I won't be doing that again. Yeah, and wasting even more money down the line for an even bigger load of old shit that doesn't happen because, it is sad. I won't mention names, but you kind of heard it earlier on. I've removed the video now, but I mean, it is sad. But unfortunately, people have got to own up to the fact that they've got these issues where they panic or whatever. But there's no excuses in my book. If you've got problems, then you say, sorry, I'm having a panic attack. I don't want to do it. Don't come. Yeah. But like inviting somebody to come and then just turning your phone off and ignoring people, That's a piss take. That's not problems.
It's not funny though, because
That's
you're
being
wasting
a
your own
prick.
money.
That's being a
your own
prick.
money, your time,
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to come on here, because I thought that was so annoying. Because
It is, yeah.
if I got to meet you and I was going to go on a little explore with you, and I'd be like, oh, I'd be so excited. We'll do it, and you'd film it, and it'd be great, and blah blah blah, and blah blah blah. But why invite someone or say, oh, we're going to meet, and then fuck all happens out of it?
Yeah, I mean, this person has had issues in the past whereby, you know, he's just said yes, you know, like, and we said we're coming down now. We'll be there at like 1 a.m. in the morning. We're coming back from London. We'll come. And I was bringing a load of like really well-known YouTubers like Dan Dixon and Proving Demons and Dark Arts Paranormal, Sam and Jess. We were all there, you know, and it was like, it would have been a great thing for him to meet these people, and like, you know, he didn't turn up. So it's like there was other events, you know, and it's like where a load of people turned up, and for some reason, again, I don't know whether this guy's got a thing about me or something, because I've never done anything wrong to this guy. I've never like been aggressive towards him, but he just, a load of people came to an event, and he got this panic on that I was going to come and get him or something, so he wanted to know whether I was there, and sent somebody over to take photos of everybody to make sure I wasn't there. And I'm like, but weird. I haven't done anything to this guy, you know. So why is he worrying about whether I'm there? So anyway, it's like, it's a continuing thing. It's a continuing thing. And listen, if you're listening, and you probably are, yeah, you've got to realize you've got an issue, right? And bringing people to come to things and they're not turning up is not good. Yeah, you're going to get a name for yourself, and you are going to be, people are going to sideline you, and they're going to avoid you if you keep doing it. Yeah. Now, I know you've got issues. Yeah. Now, those issues, don't make them other people's issues. Yeah. You need to acknowledge the fact that you've got this problem, whatever it is. Yeah. And you've got to acknowledge it, and you've got to say, look, I'm either not going to meet people, you know, but don't keep putting yourself out there and then screwing people off or hiding, because that is no answer. Yeah. And people are not out to get you. Yeah. If you invite people to come on and explore, and you say you're going to meet them, they're expecting to meet you. If you've got some sort of like things going on in your head telling you that, oh, I better not go, oh shit, or if you're just scared to meet people, or it's too much for you, it's all too much, then ring them and say, I'm panicking here, or I can't come. Yeah, but don't just zero contact people and just turn your phone off. That's bullshit.
A bit of compassion.
Yeah,
you know.
That is different. I would say, you know, watching a lot of your videos, some of them are very hairy. Some of them you're thinking, I cannot do that. But you know, you watch them. That's the exciting part of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
What Matt's doing, you're like, oh, I can't believe he's doing that.
Especially in the boats.
And he's doing this and he's doing that. So as people, so that maybe that person, have they lost the boat because what they can see you do, or have they just gone, oh fuck it, I can't do it?
He's got more bottle than me in some areas. I mean, hats off to him. This guy's gone climbing up a crane like Ali Law, and you know, sitting in the driver's cab up there. You know, I couldn't do that. I'm just like, nah. You know, see, so he's got no problems with certain things, but I think he's got problems with people. He's got problems with meeting people and panicking around people. Yeah. Now, I'm calling it out. That's what I think you've got, because it's happened several times, and it's really obvious that's the problem you've got. So fair enough. Just acknowledge you've got this problem, but don't lead people on. Just say early on. Just say, you know, you can come. I'll tell you how to get there. I'll tell you everything you need to know, but I may not be able to meet you, or I might not turn up because I have issues. Yeah. So I'll do what I can, but I may not be able to be there. But come on, answering a phone or just telling people what's going on, you know.
A text message.
You know, yeah, text message. That's not that, you know. You might have a problem with meetings like star YouTubers or something, you know, and it'll be too much for you. I don't know. Yeah. But you can send them a text message, you know.
Yeah.
That can't hurt, surely. So I don't know what the problem is, but good luck to you with dealing with it. But you don't want to make it other people's problems, because otherwise it's going to just give you a bad name, and you don't want to be doing that.
Yeah,
anyway, we'll leave it at there. You know, I'm glad I'm back in the house. I was you know, now I'm back in the house and I'm having a drink. I'm a bit more cheerful. But earlier on, I was grinching because I was suffering in the rain, driving in the bloody rain. You know, and it's like giving me a headache and brain ache because, and then with nothing to show at the end of it. Like, you know, so you're 30 quid down, your brain is fried, and nothing to show for it. Like, what a waste of time.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, there we go. We live and learn. We live and learn.
All over now.
Yeah. You've had more than enough chances, though. That's all I'm going to say. You've had more than enough chances. I ain't giving you no more. No more chances. No, that's it.
No, it's not
So,
really.
yeah. So anyway, yeah. But so right, what section 77 then? Right, we'll have to. Do you want to send us a link for your channel?
Yeah, go in 1 second.
We'll let's have a look what people are saying in the chat channel. I'm going to scroll back up and say hello to a few people now. Then there's so
Do I send
Chaos
that
De
in
La
the-
Maria.
Sorry,
I've done what? Sorry.
Do I send that in the chat on the right hand side there?
Yeah, send it in the chat channel, and I'll bring it up for you on the screen. So, Paranormal Explorer 666
No,
is
wrong
on.
one. Flipping heck.
Eagle says Liverpool is a great city. He's from West Midlands himself. John Richards says Scotland is fab. Spelt with 2 T's. Scotland is fab.
Scotland's amazing.
Yeah, it is nice. It's pretty, but
Yeah.
it's a long way for me. You know, that's the problem. It's not that it's not good. It's just it's so bloody far.
I went up to Glen Ross just before the outbreak for a couple of days with Mrs. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So.
They're saying BBC bunker. They want to know about the BBC bunker. Yeah, I'll be going back there at some point. We'll sort something out. We'll take the piss out of them somehow, you know. And they'll be embarrassed and angry, and the police will probably be involved, and it'll all be good. What the Jesus, thermocouple, you just but the thing, thermo, thank you, right? I mean, you've probably been listening to the story.
Yeah.
You may not have heard it earlier on, but what you may not be aware of, thermocouple, is that people have already been sending me money earlier on in the night feeling sorry for me. So stop feeling sorry for me, because people have totally and utterly felt sorry to a large amount of money for me tonight. So, you know, stop feeling sorry for me now, because yeah, people have definitely been chucking in the money for it.
You're a good
and anyway,
bloke,
the guy said he was going to send me the 30 quid, because I did say to him, I said, you really should pay me that 30 quid for being naughty, you know, because it's going to teach you a lesson then, isn't it? Not to do it again. Because I mean, I don't know how sincere people are as well. It's like he could be saying, just be mugging me off, like, yeah, I got problems, yeah, ha 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 ha. So it's like my gauge of sincerity with people is usually like, well, shut the there and show us the there, you know. So yeah, because they're very sincere with their mouths, but not with their wallets. So not that it's about money, but when you screw somebody off, I mean, I was really embarrassed because I cancelled an Explore because of reasons, let's say, which I'm not going to go into in big detail, but like I cancelled an Explore, and I was pretty upset that people just couldn't take it seriously, because it was going to be a big, really good day out, and it would have been massive on people's channels. It would have just been like, whoa, and people just were just like, and they just, so I just, in the end, they mugged it around. So I just went, I'm cancelling this shit. But unfortunately, there was somebody who did turn up on time and was there waiting to be on this Explore. And I had to say to him, I am so sorry, I am cancelling this because it affects you and you haven't done anything wrong to deserve this. Yeah. Because you are expected to go on it, but I'm going to make it up for you. And I said, look, I'm going to pay you petrol and some money for some food, yeah? And he was like, no, don't do it. And I was like, no, seriously. And he was like, no, I don't want to take that. And I said, no, you make me feel bad, because I'm never really going to feel right about asking you to come on another Explore, having this shit happen. And you were here. You were here on time. You didn't fuck about, you know? So that's just me, though. Because, I mean, I don't believe in screwing people around like that. So, yeah, when when I screw somebody around like that, I think, well, I've got to pay your way now, because it's like you didn't ask for this, you know. So that's just me. So.
I know you said earlier, you know, you don't have to really move because everything's pretty much close by where you are and stuff. Do people ever like you to come abroad and?
Oh look, he's given another $20. He's called it £100 now. Look, $100. Oh my God, Thermocouple. If I had the money, brilliant. Well, no, I better be careful what I say here now. If I had the money, I'd come out and give you a big kiss. But you'd probably send me the money now for the airfare.
As long as you've got your mask on.
No, I'll kiss him without a mask.
Same
I'll kiss him without a mask.
Same here.
You can have the full slobber. And I wouldn't shave as well, so you can. I'll go ahead. I'll rub him round his cheeks, and I'll give him a big whoop. Thank you. Yeah.
Have you still got your big black boat?
The big black bitch. You refrain from being rude, then, sir. But yes, I have actually. Yes, I've still got it, and I'm going to be getting rid of it. But the mate of mine has shown a bit of interest. The guy who normally does my car, he's showed a bit of interest because he said, that is much bigger than I thought it would be. And I said, yeah, it is, isn't it? And he was like, He said, and he was chatting to me about prices and whatnot. And I said, yeah, I'm going to be getting rid of it soon. So I'm actually going to be taking it from where I normally store the boat. And I'm going to be taking it to his place so I can store the new boat in place of that one. It's going to be stored up at his place. And I'm hoping once it's like wafted under his nose for a bit, he might actually say, go on then. But I know why he wants it, right? I know why he wants it, and I don't blame him at all. He doesn't want it for doing what I'm doing. He wants it for going up and down the canals and with him and his mates getting drunk on it. Nice. That's what he wants it for.
Good idea.
To have a laugh. And I don't blame him because he's I've heard some of the stories about him. He bought him and his brother. They're fun guys. They're really fun guys. They got was it 1 or 2 electric wheelchairs, right? And they souped them up so they were super fast. Like they increased the battery voltage so they were fast. And they went round devices in them. And then I think what do they do now? That's right. They screwed a board on one of them once. So 2 of them could sit on one wheelchair at once, an electric wheelchair, so they could have 2 on one. And they had cop cars stopped around them. They stopped them. Cop cars stopped around them, and they were done for it. They were prosecuted for it. You know, for just 2 guys on a wheelchair just going through town having a pint or something like that, and they got done for it. So yeah, but he's there's fun characters. So I can see what he wants to do. He wants to get all his mates on that boat and go down the canal with a small engine on it. Because I did say I tried a 10 horsepower and that thing was hardly moving. And he was like, "Oh, it'll be all right with a 3 horsepower on the canal." I'm like, "Oh, it might just move. It might."
Oh, brilliant!
So fingers crossed, he might have it. Otherwise, I'll put it up for sale. So yeah.
That when you were with Dan and the others going to that little island, that looked pretty dodgy because you know you've all got your bags. Yeah. There was 3 of you at a time, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with Steve that can't swim.
That looked dodgy.
Oh, it was, mate. It was. Yeah. But thanks, Thermocouple, by the way. I don't know if I said thanks. I just said, look what he's just done, but thank you. The little boat is good, and it's very nippy with a 10 horsepower on there. But with 3 people on there, you can't get it to do what they call plane, because it comes up out of the water, and then it just whoosh, then it'll skim across. But with 3 people on there, it's a little bit much to get it to plane, so it bounces a lot, and it's a bit slow. But it's a great little boat, though. I mean, with one person on there, oh, bloody hell, the thing's lethal. You know, it really does zip along. And
does look scary,
though. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, well, I mean, in what way? What do you think is scary about it then? Just that you could die, you know?
Yeah.
Or you fall in the water and die. Yeah. we got.
Oh, your bag jumps over and you lose the camera.
Well, yes, there's that. Yeah. I don't know. I think the bags are fairly safe because they won't bounce out too much. I don't think.
don't think.
I think the bigger. Well, you've got a little attachment that goes on your clothing. If you fall out of the boat, it stops the engine because it pulls a little thing off the engine, so it just shuts the engine down. So, we've all got life jackets on. So yeah, I mean, what could go wrong? Yeah.
And the thing is, people may slightly want to see it go a bit wrong because you're going on a great explorer and we're like, oh, they're in the boat. And if it did go wrong, you'd probably want to see that as well.
Yeah. Well, all I can say is, I mean, I love Dan and Steve. They are. I mean, Steve. I've been watching Steve before I even watched Dan. I mean, I've been watching his stuff, and to even have him in the boat was like amazing. But like finding out he couldn't swim, and he was panicking, and it was nighttime, and they were all scared. They were scared.
Yeah, of course.
But Dan is a tough man, and he did come back on the boat. I don't think Steve would have come back on the boat to come up over and get people, but it was nice that Dan came there because I was just a little bit unsure of the colours and what markers I was seeing, because they tell you where to go. You have a red and a green, and what you do is you go between them. So you look red, green, I go between it, and then you look for the next red, green, I go between that. They're only really for big ships. They it's not so important for small boats because there's no obstructions. Your ship isn't going down 30 feet into the water. It's just skimming across the surface, so it doesn't really matter. But, you do need to know where you are. It's become apparent to me a number of times. You do need to know what's underneath you, because some of these areas go down to zero meters. Like, you've got sand and you've got rocks underneath you, and if you could be skimming along, you think it's all great, but then suddenly you've just ripped your boat open, because there's something underneath the water. It can happen. It depends how fast you're going, and whether you'd injure yourself. The boat would start going down, but the boats have all got like three compartments for the air, and they're very hard to sink. So you'd all be clambering on, and you get on the radio and you'd be clambering on. You'd be freezing by the time they get to you. But it shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem, especially when you're so close to shore. And with the places we've been, like Plymouth and Portsmouth, I talk about military presence. The military have got loads of boats continually in the water, just watching what people are doing for terrorist activity. They don't want people,
That massive ship that went past you.
Oh God,
that was brilliant.
That was scary. That was.
They come for us.
I'm giving you a clue here, but I was in the harbour yesterday, and I was looking at the British new aircraft carrier. And I was very, very close to that. And if we got too close, we would have been immediately stopped, because they don't let you know they're there, but they are there. They are always there. They're always watching.
Always watching.
So, and that aircraft carrier was a piece of kit. That was a big bastard. And even that, the British one, I was like, whoa, look at that. That's amazing. And that's nothing compared to an American aircraft carrier. You could just fit that on the back of an American aircraft carrier. It's So good stuff though. That was down in Portsmouth the day before yesterday.
Nice. Yeah, it's a shame we got rid of a lot of our navy, unfortunately.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. But
changing
times.
We got aircraft carriers, but apparently we don't have aircraft to go on the aircraft carriers. So go figure.
Just talking about Army and War for a second. I'm a sound recordist, so I go everywhere recording sound, blah blah blah, and interviewing. I don't interview the people, but we do. We were talking to a soldier a couple of weeks ago. Won't say what his disability was, but he had no legs and he had all mental other problems. And we were talking about war. And when I meet a soldier, I drill them. You know what I mean? I try and get as much info as I can and see how far they can go. And this one, he was like, "Oh yeah, war and stuff," and we were talking about his Irandex and stuff, and he was going, "Well, there's no money for a war at the moment." And as soon as he said that, I was like, "So, carry on." And he was saying, "Yeah, all the tanks, they're all hidden, they're all in bunkers, they're just all put away because there's no money for war." I was like, "No money for war." So if there was money. Scary stuff.
People are going to say that I'm off the wall for saying this, right? But if you want a conspiracy theory, because I believe that, like, you know, I don't believe in the COVID thing, right? I think it's all bollocks, and whatever's out there has been put out there by some bad people, you know, and they work for governments and the Illuminati and the rest of it. Yeah, I believe in that stuff. People say like, oh, you know, but the thing is, we got some dark people on this planet, yeah, and they believe in, you know, blood sacrifice, basically. And I think that if you look at the way wars have been conducted over the years, you know, it's all about taking a load of people, right, and just killing them. Yeah, it's not about good versus evil or X versus Y. It's about taking a load of people and just putting them in the pot and boiling them, and that's what war's about. And they've been doing it for a very long time, and they're dark people. They're dark people. And the thing is, when you take away their toys, when you take away the wars, then they're like, well, all right, then we won't do the war. We'll just kill you this way. If we can't kill you this way, we'll kill you this way, you know? Yeah. But they want their numbers. They want their numbers of souls, basically. And they're not very nice people. And this is their new way of population control. You can't have population control through war. We'll have it some other way. They're going to have their numbers, and they want their numbers. Yeah.
I think the whole the COVID thing. Like, I was in hospital a couple of months back, beginning, but that mightn't have been because of that. I'm not gonna. It was a pneumonia on the lungs, so I'm not gonna say that. I don't believe in it. I was in London last weekend, so.
Was that the protest?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I've got loads of videos of.
Right, yeah.
So
I didn't even know it was going on. I'm so anti-media. I didn't even know that protest was going on. I found out about it after a day later. Somebody sent me a video on it. I was like, really? That went on? Oh, it would have been the type of thing I probably would have liked to have gone to.
Yeah, it was.
Because I'm so anti-media, I didn't even find out about it.
Yeah.
It was good, but the police just lined up everywhere. As soon as there was a speaker on, boom, they got them, took them away, and.
What? They took the speakers away?
Oh yeah. I was in Hyde Park Speakers Corner, and forgive me, I don't know his name. He's a German doctor scientist. He did like 10-15 minutes and
something.
Yeah. This guy, I've got him on film. I've got a couple of minutes of him doing a speech, and then I went elsewhere, and then they all just swooped in. They were all like targeting. They were all like groups here, groups there, all signal to each other, and then one would swoop in, take someone else out, regroup, another one would swoop in, and then they'd regroup, and they'd just do that every half an hour and take people out. Strange.
So, because I don't, to be honest, I didn't actually know that they'd shut it down. I mean, this is how, like, completely,
the process,
I don't know, I didn't, so did it went tits up, did it?
No, the process was fine. So Piers did his little bit. Dave Murphy did a bit. Ike did 20 odd minutes. Everything was fine, and then he just went, come either side in Trafalgar Square, took a couple of people away, blah blah blah, and then everyone started marching away to Hyde Park Corner, where it was a bigger space. It was more freedom and stuff, and then you could just see them all lining up. And as soon as major speakers come on, they just attacked, took them, and just whipped them off.
They took the speakers today. They actually took the speakers.
Yeah.
And what happened to the speakers then? Were they arrested, or were they just like taken and then released?
I think that German guy. I think they took him away for 22 hours. I think there's a video on YouTube of him, like 22 hours later outside the busy station, and he's like, "Oh yeah, 22 hours." But yeah, they just took him in like swoops. They just went poof, and it took him away straight away. It was a peaceful process as well. There wasn't no Antifa type of crowd there. It was quite peaceful.
It's crazy, man. Sad times we're living.
You're being paged there.
1 minute.
She said, "I'm working. I'm working. What are you doing?" So I'm broadcasting to the bloody nation, woman. Yeah. I had somebody I know who does a podcast, he was doing a podcast, and the moment he started, he's like, "Hello, welcome to Mindset Radio," and his missus started like hoovering the moment he started doing it. And he said, "So what are you doing? What are you doing?" She goes, "Well, I've got a hoover." He goes, "You literally waited till the moment I started, and you just fucking hell." But he's like had to go with his missus like she was hoovering. It's funny, really funny.
Fantastic. The joys of
So
life.
you wait till I start my podcast to Hoover. What the fuck? Yeah. So yeah,
Brilliant.
bless him. Yeah. So Section 77. Right. What's your sort of favorite conspiracies of the moment then, and what are you into, and what's happening?
Everything really, to be honest. Everything from Bigfoot to the latest Tic Tac UFO footage that was leaked out a few years back, and then Pentagon said that UFOs are real, but whether that's alien or military, you know what I mean. There's tons of stuff out there. Skinwalker Ranch, that's a fascinating place, fascinating area, lots of history.
I'm a bit like because it's a lot of it's all hearsay. It's all hearsay, that Skinwalker Ranch story. It's like the Emperor's New Clothes. It's like lots of great stories. It makes great, interesting stories. But yeah. I mean, Tic Tac's UFO stuff. I mean, at least there's some footage behind it, and it's
that is true. That is true. Yeah.
I did like watching that. There's new documentaries. There's one by what do they call is it Urban Monsters or something Monsters? They do these documentaries, and they did one on Bigfoot the other day. I can't remember now. It's a big name guy. He's like, Christ, what was it now? I can probably find out what I've watched on Amazon Prime. It's on Amazon Prime, but it's some really good stuff. Some good documentaries out there on it. Yeah, I'll see if I can find it now.
What's that other dude's name? Survivalist guy.
Bear Grylls?
No.
No.
Oh god, I can't think of his name. Yeah. I'll do it.
On the trail of the Bigfoot, Seth Breedlove is the guy. He does lots of these videos. He's done a few of these on the Bigfoot. He's done On the Trail of the Bigfoot, The Legend, and The Search. And I mean, this guy Seth Breedlove, I think he's got a company. He's done one called Momo. I haven't watched this one yet. Momo, the Missouri Monster, and he's done one called the Minerva Monster. I really like the way he does it. It's very high quality, very well produced videos. You get some real crappy UFO stuff and conspiracy stuff just thrown up there on Prime, which is like really bad quality. You don't know but this guy, he's got production quality. It's like cinematic stuff, very nicely done. The Mothman, he did one on the Mothman. I'm slowly working my way through it. It's really good stuff. Yeah,
so many.
I think 90% of ufology is all fake shite. But if you read between the lines, connect the dots, you go, well, they're talking about the same subject. The 10 years they were saying that, and now it's the same year, and it's the same year. So you sort of can connect the dots and go, okay, so I believe 10% of it instead of the 90%.
It goes all the way back to history, doesn't it? All the way back.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Famous paintings, artwork. Why are they there?
Everything. Exactly.
Why are they there?
That's it. All the ancient, all the old technology that, they were supposed to use or not use, to make all these megalithic structures and things like that, like Puma Punku and what's the other place called? Saxy Woman or something like that. That's how it's pronounced.
These are the not Mexican. What are they?
Peru.
Peru, yeah. I can't remember the names of them. Yeah,
it's difficult, isn't it, to remember everything? But
these are the Mayan stuff, isn't it?
Definitely. But you can see where the Mayans did their work, and and then like underneath their work is like the really
Earlier
good stuff. Yeah. Fascinating.
I watched
Fascinating.
a fascinating documentary on the Sphinx in Egypt. So it's been there for 1,000 years. Is it 10,000 years old? Is it 5? Is it more? Is it less? We don't know. We don't literally know.
You got all that water evidence, and
yeah, you've got the water erosion around the sides, and just one documentary, they were basically saying the Sphinx was African. And when you watch the whole thing, you're going, you know, it makes a lot of sense. This, and then because they were target practicing on the nose of the Sphinx, and if they didn't, the Sphinx would have an African nose, And then later on, after they started adding stuff to the Sphinx to make it more Egyptian. But why would a certain period of time would they have target practice on the nose of the Sphinx? Because it might have had an African nose. It's quite interesting, and it made me think a lot. It really made me think a lot.
It's crazy.
Thank you, Ian McCall, for your £5 donation. Thank you, Ian, or Ian. Depends how you pronounce it. So thank you for your donation.
Yeah, we just found some chambers underneath as well, weren't there? Some new chambers a couple of years ago, but they won't let anyone go down there to have a look. I think it was an English team that scanned the ground and found these chambers underneath. So,
are you rolling a cigarette there?
I am.
It sounds like, doesn't
I thought it sounded like a cigarette going on the go there.
Smoke far too much. I really do.
Mr. Smoke Too Much. My name is Mr. Smoke Too Much. That's a Monty Python character, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be.
Too much. I think he was, wasn't he? Mr. Smoke Too Much. Yeah. I went down on a conspiracy thing with somebody who was convinced that they were like getting telepathic messages about stuff to do with the Sphinx, and we went there, and he went off on a wild tangent, and but whilst we were there, we got permission to go and have a look exclusively at the Sphinx and actually go up to it, which is a bit like Stonehenge, which is what you stand back and look at it. You're not supposed to go up, but we got permission, to go up there and actually have a look around, and he was convinced that at the back end of the Sphinx, the bit you couldn't see round the back, there was going to be a tunnel. So we went round there, and there was no tunnel, but you could see the tail of the Sphinx, and it actually had a hole up there underneath the tail of the Sphinx, which is like, you could almost say like an arsehole, and I said to the guy, like, is there any chance we can go up there? And he went, yeah, I suppose so. It's a bit dangerous, if you try and climb up there. So I climbed up there into the arsehole of the Sphinx, if you can believe this or not, right? Seriously, right? Secret Vault exclusive here. I have talked about this before, right? I have climbed into the arsehole of the Sphinx, and do you know what I found there? And this is a revelation. Do you know what I found in the arsehole of the Sphinx?
Well,
Coke cans and crisp packets.
What's the hell?
That have been stuffed in there. They've been stuffed in there like people have left their rubbish in there.
That's ridiculous. That is.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And they asked me, what's up there? And I said, yeah. And I chucked down a Coke can, crisp packet, and I was chucking it down from the thing. So, yeah.
I've never
an old one.
Well, yeah. I don't know how long it had been there.
This
is like how disrespectful. I mean, like to climb up there, be given permission to go up there and just dump your rubbish in it as well. I mean, it's obviously been done by somebody who's had permission to go there.
So I've never been there, the pyramids in Cairo, but obviously you have. Is it literally at the end of all busy town in the city?
It is. It's like the city.
Because it looks like it's in the desert, but it's not. Yeah.
It's not.
The city literally goes all the way up to it and stops dead. And there are even little houses right in front of it, and it's like when you photograph it from certain angles, you can kind of hide the fact that the city's there. But trust me, the city goes all the way to it, stops, and boom, that's where the pyramids are. But on the other side of the pyramids, it is then desert. It does go off into the desert. But I got to say as well, I mean, I didn't think, once I was there and looking at it, I was like, it's not as big as I thought it was going to be. It's like, it's impressive, but it's not that big. It's not that big. And you know, it's like for people to say like, oh, people couldn't make this and it's just like impossible. I'm like, yeah, they could so make that. They could absolutely make that.
It looks big on screen and photographs, so I've never been to actually physically see it, but
it does. And I think that's the thing. It's like the way things are photographed and the way they build the story up, and you're kind of looking at it and cameras whooshing around. But I mean, that's probably why they don't let people climb it. It's not necessarily, I think, to do with the fact that, you know, it's dangerous. It's because it isn't that high and it isn't that dangerous. But it's like if people take photos of themselves up there, you go, oh, that's it, is it? Right.
It's like that couple
okay.
having sex a couple of years ago or something. Like, I think a woman stripped naked or something on top of one of the pyramids.
Right.
Each their own.
Yeah. I mean, there were little things as well inside it, you know. I mean, they talk about these passageways and things, and then the room that when you go inside, we walked up the inside of it and we went to this room. The room's pretty small. You know, it's not big. I mean, it's all very small. So, yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment, really, in many respects. But then Stonehenge's as well. It's like people go like Stonehenge. It's like,
oh yeah, thousands of years now. Yeah.
You know, it's not big at all. And I know it must have been a pain in the arse to carry these stones, you know, from Wales across and all that. But again, you know, yeah, people with religious fervor probably did it. It's not like impossible.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. I'm gonna go get another beer. Right.
I'll do the same.
All right then. Well,
good man. I was going to chill out here. Read some of his comments.
I'll zip myself up so we don't get any fallout. So back in a second.
What's your section? The photographs of Stonehenge in the 50s when it was rebuilt.
Yeah, I was looking at that the other day actually.
Yeah, it's mad,
popped up on my thing. Yeah, it is extremely.
Like the Great Wall of China. Great Wall of China. They said it's been there for thousands. It has. But like it was rebuilt in the 80s. You know, it was rebuilt in certain sections. So they go, oh, it's thousands of years old, but realistically,
not all that bit though.
Just that little tiny bit over there.
Yeah. If you want to see something old like that, you just go to the cathedrals or something. That's it, dude. Some of these comments are fantastic.
What do you say?
50,000-year-old Coke cans.
Not Pepsi.
Yeah, no, I don't like Pepsi.
Yeah. People only say to Pepsi when there's no Coke.
Yeah, that's it. Sometimes you haven't got a choice.
Was Pepsi fine? You go, yeah, go on. Go on then.
Yeah, that Sphinx, it's a weird one. Definitely, they just can't make their minds up, can they?
Oh, I didn't get
it's definitely a water erosion around the entire thing. You could tell.
Yeah.
Geologists can find it straight. They know.
That's it. Yeah.
They know more than us. They know. They can tell. They've studied it for years. They know more than us.
Yeah, definitely.
Not going to lie about water erosion, are they? What's the point in lying about that?
That's it. Indeed.
You get nothing out of it. And you can tell anyway if you go to any seaside resort or in like any place like that, you can see with the water.
Of course you can.
Dragged stuff and moved.
That's it. It's quite distinctive.
Yeah. You can tell.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hello.
Wow. Is that the dog?
Yay! Beautiful dog, man. Beautiful.
She peed on the floor earlier on because I left her to go to that bloody Reading trip, you know. And I left her because I knew I was only going to be gone a couple of hours, you know. So you go up, do it, come back fairly quickly. So I thought, she gets so stressed in the car, I wouldn't bother taking her. So, and see, she doesn't like coming. You say, come in the car. She's like, I don't want to come. And then if you leave her, she cries and she'll pee on the floor. It's a tantrum, you know.
Did she
doesn't need to?
Did she cut a pause in that building you were in a couple of uploads ago? You took her off the lead because she was a pain in the ass.
Oh, she's totally
Did she
a pain in the ass.
Did she cuss herself?
No, No, she's never ever cut herself on glass or anything. I mean,
because there was glass all over the floor, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was, and she looked like she was standing right where it was at some point. I looked at her
Just
paws,
gonna get a
and her
drink.
paws were fine. All right, mate. Yeah, I'll be back. No, she's perfectly fine, and people have slagged me off in the past. You shouldn't take the dog into buildings, but I mean, you know, if the dog had ever injured herself, I probably wouldn't do it again. But I've taken the dog in so many places, and I'm not specifically saying, "Oh, hey, dog, walk on glass," you know. I wouldn't do that. But here we are. Look, say hello. Ooh, yeah, but yeah, she's fine. She's fine. It's just I didn't like seeing us near that glass. I'm not specifically she stood on it, but yeah. No, she's not done anything with her feet. And I mean, I check her out, you know, if I see her near stuff like that. So.
Has she been on the boat? I can't remember. Has she been on the boat? She
hasn't been on the boat, and the reason being is because it would be too easy, I think, for her claws to potentially puncture the edges. But the new boat I'm getting, it's got a hard bottom to it, so I'm thinking there might be a way that I could kind of get her on the boat at some point, you know. And I would like to get her on the boat to sort of like show her what it's like to be on the boat, you know, ripping around for a bit of fun. I think she'd enjoy it, but it's the bounce that she may not get on with so much. I don't know, but
how old is she?
She's 8.5 now.
Nice.
So becoming an old Malamute bitch. Nice. She was a young Malamute bitch, and she's a medium-aged Malamute bitch. And now she's a Malamute bitch. She's a total Malamute bitch. Nah. She's a Malamute bitch. Give kisses. Give a kiss. Moo, baby. She says, yeah, but where's the treat, though? You've had them. There's no more. You've had them. You've had all of them. You've had about 4 now. And I left her about 10 treats when I went out to sort of like distract her. And she still peed on the floor. 3 hours is nothing. Oh. She, you know, she doesn't need to pee on the floor. But I went out, and when I came back, she peed on the floor. You didn't need to do that in 3 hours, did you? You did not need to do that. I took you out before I left. Yeah. It was anger, I think. She's like angry.
Yeah, I'm going to get back at you for leaving me at home.
I'm gonna get you. Yeah, I'm gonna pee.
Neglect.
I'm gonna pee on the floor. You're gonna pee on the floor. Like a big bitch.
How long have you known Dan then from Exploring with Fighters? Because I come across your channel through his.
Yeah. Only back as far as the video with him going to Corsham and seeing the Men in Black. But the funny thing is, he watched one of my videos to see the way that he went into that tunnel the first time he went there. And he watched one of my videos, and I stuck it out there, and I was thinking, I'm stupid really for putting this video up there, because somebody who's clued up will watch this video and go, I'll tell you what, I reckon I could get in there. And I was thinking, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't stick this up there, because somebody might do it before I do it, because I wanted to do it. And he went, and he was the guy that did it. So when he did it, I was like, oh, Jesus, he's gone and done what I wanted to do. But, well, more fool me for putting it up there. But the thing that got me was that he was convinced he was in Burlington. And I said, nah. I know this place really well. That is not Burlington. It may potentially somehow connect, but not obviously. You know, it's not so like you're walking along and suddenly you're in Burlington, and you're definitely too far to the north, and this was a completely different area. But I mean, you could call the whole area, like the Corsham tunnels, Burlington, you could call the whole area, but that was supposed to be its own separate little area, but there was supposed to be a very thin tunnel that did lead into Burlington, but Dan was nowhere near that and didn't find it. And if he had gone into Burlington, it would have become a whole different look and feel, because they are very different quality tunnels with roads and all that sort of stuff. And who knows what it looks like down there now, because they're starting to use them again. They've all been reclassified and it's all dodgy and you can't go anywhere near it, and starting to use them again now.
Yeah,
scary. As section says, I found I found Exploring with Josh first.
Yeah.
Because it was UK. I thought,
that's it. Yeah.
And then I found obviously Matthew's channel. And Dan's channel, I love it. I'll watch it every day if he uploads. Dan's the fun channel where things could go wrong. It's a fun channel, and Matthew's channel is completely different. It's very informative. You know, all the information is correct. He's not going to fuck about. You see things, and it's it's
extremely knowledgeable.
Yeah. So so you watch Dan's channel. It's fun, and he gets up to all mischief, but. And if you don't mind saying, Matthew, yours is very more informative. So I know.
People keep telling me this, and I keep telling them I'm not an expert. I'm guessing, but I had a guy write to me today.
It's a good guess.
Most of it's correct, though. Yeah.
But it's literally guesswork based on things I've seen, documentaries, and just stuff that's just gone whoosh. But it's like you go. I reckon looking at that's got to be this, and and the guy wrote to me today. He was looking at that Portsdown tunnel. I'll just see if I can find it now, and I'll tell you what he said. If I can find it, Portsmouth. No, I'm probably not going to be able to find this now. But he was very complimentary, and he said, "I'm an electrical engineer, and I just wanted to tell you that was a starter motor for the bigger motor down there." He said you were right, and he went through all the bits, because he actually, I think he'd worked down there, but he's also an electrical engineer as well. And he was telling me all the voltages that were involved. And he was saying they would have worked on 110 volts down there because of the petrol, because petrol fuel stations, they often did it that way because it was, safer at 110 volts rather than 240. And he was like going through it all. And he said, you are right, what you come out with. And I was like, yay. Because it's like, that's it. I don't know per se. I mean, some things I know, and some things I'm guessing. But it's, I seem to like, I like having an innate sense. Yeah, like I love looking at things and going, what's that? What's that connected to? And where does that pipe go? And what does all that mean? And what does that add up to? It's like I'd never seen that type of halon system before. And there was a wire across the top, and I was like, what's that then? It's a piece of metal. Well, why is there a piece of metal and a wire? Well, that metal is to catch something. What's it trying to catch? And it could be catch drips, but it could be to catch heat. And it's trying to reflect the heat. So the heat is going to melt that thing. And it's like, it's a melt. Right. It's a fire system. Right. Okay. And it's like, if it's little things like that. I love, because I don't know what I'm looking at, but it's really exciting and interesting to kind of work it out as you see it for the very first time. Could be completely wrong.
You said
you can see my thought processes working because I'm trying to work out a puzzle. Like, what are they hiding? What was here? What's this? What does it mean?
On the last cinema one, when you were talking about the projectors, like I'm really into it myself. And you were talking about
because I used to be a projectionist.
I know you were talking about the 18 frames per second to the 24. So when we watch black and white movies and it's a bit sped up, are we watching it at 24 when it should be 18?
Probably, because a lot of the projectors that they can put those films in would be at the wrong speed, and there's no way to slow them down. So, if they did play them at 18 frames a second, they'd be a bit more stuttery. But you do see, sometimes the BBC, they will show things at the correct 18 frames a second. But there's it jitters more. Yeah. But that's fine. But to keep it in the systems they've got, a lot of the time is to do with the fact that 24 frames, they've got the Tele-Cine converters, which work 24 frames to British PAL, and that's it. And they don't know how to make it 18 frames a second because they don't know how to do that. So they just go, we got black and white footage, we run it through our projectors, and we got it. And they're all walking around fast because that's how we do it, And it's like, well, actually, there's another way to do it, but you don't know about that, which is slowing it down. So were they to slow it down, it can look correct.
Everything's filmed in HD anyway, isn't it, I think? Even from back in the 50s. I think
Well, film.
Well,
yeah,
film is high definition. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Just let me butt in for a second. So,
Mhm.
you know that little gate, I think, did you call it a gate? You pulled out and you said that
Well,
looks like a 70mm slot.
That was an initial gate. Yeah, it was an initial gate. So that was giving a very wide, it was bigger than 70 even. It was like, but it was a super wide thing. And I was like, oh, well, that looks at least 70. But I couldn't understand, why do they need a pre-gate? It's a pre, it's straight off the lamp before it goes through the real gate. And the real gate, normally that is removable for 16:9, Academy, which is 4:3, which is more like an old television. So that's more like, it's more like that. That's 4:3, yeah. And then 16:9 would be an extension of that. So we go out to like here, yeah. And then 235 is anamorphic, which is super wide, which is the
interesting.
And what they used to do, you see, I mean, everything is filmed on 4:3. Everything is filmed on 4:3, but if it's 16:9, it's blacked out at the top of the bottom, and you put a gate in to blank it out. So you blank out the top of the bottom. So everything's filmed on that square, right? Yeah. But as it goes through the 35mm projector, the 30mm will often shoot the top and the bottom that it doesn't need. But when they edit it, then they put the borders in at the editing process. So it's got this extra stuff, and if they need to, they can pan up and pan down later on if they need to get that extra footage in. But once it's edited,
you can punch in.
But once it's edited and it's gone for delivery to the cinema, it will have those borders in there. But once or twice, I saw movies that they didn't put the borders in. So had we shown it on the black part of the screen, on the black top and the bottom, it would have been 4:3, because we had blacked out for 16:9, because you don't get 4:3. They just don't exist. But you'd have seen like images going on the black bits that you weren't supposed to see things on, because what you do then is you slide in the gate, and the gate blocks off the top and the bottom. So if you leave that gate out and projected it, you would see stuff at the top and the bottom. Right. So then anamorphic is that. But then what you do is you double in, so it squeezes in the image. So everyone is tall now. They're tall on the film, super tall. And then what you do is the anamorphic lens stretches it back out across the screen, so it makes it correct size. But what that has an effect of doing is any light sources will produce flares, then become super wide flares. They stretch out, flares stretch out. I actually have a lens. No, I don't. It's in the car. I haven't brought the lens in. Shit. I haven't brought it in. I actually bought a lens which you can hold over this here. It's for the DJI Pocket camera, and it's an anamorphic lens. I don't think it's any good. That's actually cool. It's crap, because it makes the image out of focus, and I thought it was supposed to be pretty good, but it looks shit. But if I put that on there, you get even more left and right. And when I edit, then I have to actually stretch the screen out. I have to stretch it, and I have to put the black borders in. But any light source you see will have it'll have that sort of Star Trek-y sort of stretch on it.
Thermal projectors, was there literally one bulb in there to beam through to project onto the screen? And if so, what type of bulb and wattage-wise?
Well, it depends. If you've got a home type projectors, and small projectors would be just a filament bulb, and they could be 250 watts, 1,000 watts. But they were very dim. Some of those old early home projectors, they were like 100-watt bulbs and things, and you weren't getting a big projection on the wall. You're watching it something that like that size.
I had one, and it wasn't that good.
And you're all sitting around squinting at it, and you've got this horrible noisy projector sitting next to you, but you're squinting at a really small image. So that's how a lot of the early projectors were. But for cinema purposes, they used to use carbon arcs, which were little filaments of carbon, like little black filaments of carbon, and they would put them into the back, the lighthouse, and they would strike them by pushing them towards each other with a voltage, and then they would go doosh, and they would spark. And then what they do is they pull them back, and the spark remains. So you have to strike them like that, boom, get them together. And once they strike, you then pull them back to maintain the plasma, maintain the spark. But as the elements burn away, because it's carbon and it burns away, as it burns away, you're going to lose that spark because the gap's going to get too big again as it burns. So what they do is you should have a clockwork mechanism, and the clockwork mechanism would move the carbon in as time went, and you had a speed control. So it was clockwork, but you could speed it up and slow it down. Now, if you wanted a brighter image, you burn faster, so you turn the speed up so it moves in faster, right? So in general, those carbon arcs, if they were like that long, like sort of this long, and they would burn in like that, it would take about 20 minutes to burn in general. So guess what? That's why they make the reels for the movies 20 minutes long. And that's why you have to cut them together in batches of 20, 40, 80, 60. And you make the whole movie up on a massive reel, but they're all 20 minutes because in the early days, historically, those reels, you put one on the top and the bottom and you'd close them in a fireproof door because film was made out of
cellulose.
It was, celluloid, but it was made, the silver nitrate was explosive. So all that heat from a carbon arc, it's like an arc lamp. You imagine like welding a car with an arc lamp. That light is the same amount of power and heat to weld metal. And you're going continuously with all that amount of heat and light. If you put your hand in front of that, you'd burn your hand within a second. Ooh. But the reason the film doesn't catch fire is because it's constantly moving. So imagine moving your hand constantly in front. Well, you never get hot. But if you hold your hand, ow, now you're burnt. So that's why the film would burn. Now the film would not burn as long as it was moving, but if that projector stopped for some reason or if the film jammed, that little bit of film there was not just going to melt, it was going to go bang, and then it would go boosh up into the projector and it would set the rest of the reel on fire and the whole thing would go bang. So they had to have, the whole thing had to be sealed. And you were only meant to bring in one reel of film at a time, load it onto the projector, seal it, and get ready to switch every 20 minutes to the other projector and every 20 minutes back and forth. So you had these 20-minute changes. And that's why, if you notice movies, if you look up in the corner, right, every 20 minutes you have a little, what they call a cigarette burn. And that's your 10-second countdown. So the guy's watching through the window. He can see that it's nearly finished, but he's got to start watching through the window. He can see the reels getting smaller and smaller. He's got to start watching. And when he sees the 10, he starts the motor, switches the bulb on, strikes it. He's got 10 seconds to get all this done. So he can start it, get it struck. And then when he sees the second cigarette burn, the second little thing up in the corner, doop, like that, right? Then he switches from projector to projector. So he basically douses the light, and it's called a dowser. The light, it douses in front of the thing, and he opens the light on the other one, and whilst the motor's going. So you just basically, it's a seamless change. You would only see like maybe a flash or a little jerk, and it, boom, there you're into the next section for 20 minutes. And then he's watching then as that one counts down, and then he switches back to the original projector. He's put on another reel. So you imagine for a movie that's an hour and a half long, it's 20 minutes per reel. Those reels were small. So you imagine 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So you're talking 7 reels there for a movie at that size, like that sort of reel size. Let's have a look about that size. So it's like that size. And they didn't want to make them bigger than that a lot of the time because of the safety factor, So as things became safety film, that's why they call it safety film. A lot of people wonder when they see these things, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, safety film, 3, 2, 1, go. The word safety film. Why? Because safety film doesn't explode. It's made out of something that doesn't explode. So I think those films could even explode if they were kept in the wrong conditions, just like, kept in bad conditions, they could sometimes catch fire. So this is why the projectionist rooms in these places, you see the projectionist room is in one place and there's a brick and they often have to walk out of it outdoors to another room to put the reels in, because they don't want to keep the reels near a heat source, like a fire source, which is the carbon arc, because it's too dangerous. So they have to walk those films in, put them on the projector, film, get them out and put them back in a safe place, get the next reel out, put it up. But once they got safety film, then they could keep the keep the plastic film in the same room. And of course, you were dealing with raw flame with a carbon arc. So it was raw flame. So plasma. But then, of course, they developed into being bulbs. So they took away the carbon arcs, which was an open flame, and then they put xenon gas, which was an inhibitor, in there instead of oxygen, because oxygen was basically causing the carbon arcs to burn away very quickly, the oxygen, yeah? But what they did is they put an inert gas, xenon in there, and they would basically then strike the arc, and it would keep going, and it would last for 2,000 hours. Instead of 20 minutes, it would last for 2,000 hours on the terminals because of the inert gases. So, okay, you've removed the need to change the bulb so often, and you've removed the fact that it's a live flame, which could get out of hand and could jump to the nitrate film. And then you could afford to put 20-minute films into 2 or 3 onto a big reel, and you could have a 40-minute reel, which is 3 films on 1 reel, and you could switch every 40 minutes, which made life much easier for the projectionist. Or you could have one massive reel or sideway platters, and you could actually go for the whole movie and not have to bother changing. So that was the progression of things. But yeah,
it's crazy how you know that.
Yeah.
When was the last time they used that then? So when was the last time that was? And if you can, just elaborate on modern cinema. What's the changeover?
Well, they don't change over now because it's all digital. So there is no changeover. It's a hard drive, and the hard drive is put into the system.
I think I've seen one. I think it was either one of Dan's videos or one of yours, and there was hard drives on the floor placed somewhere. Yeah. So that was basically the film.
It depends who you speak to. I've spoken to people who said this is bullshit, right? But I'm telling you, it ain't bullshit, right? I'm telling you, this is how they do it. Okay. Some people said no, they can't, they don't do that, right? They used to send down hard drives instead of movie reels, because movie reels are bloody heavy, and you get five reels in a can, 5 reels in a box, and it's a metal box, and it might be 2 boxes per movie. So you've got 10 reels, and if it was Lord of the Rings, you probably have like 5 boxes, it's like it's bloody huge, So I mean, it's a hell of a weight. I mean, I used to carry these bloody things down, and they used to be backbreaking to carry down. And they used to get collected by security people and taken away. But now you don't have to do that anymore. It's all on a hard drive. So hard drives are really small, and they send you a hard drive or 2 hard drives, and these have to be uploaded onto your server, because the server has special super fast hard drives, whereas the ones they send you are just cheap hard drives. Yeah. So they're just dirt cheap, but it's so much cheaper because film is expensive to mass produce and to develop, and it degrades and it gets dirty, and some projectors wreck it, and you have to recut it together. So you get a jump, you get scratchy audio on the soundtracks unless it's digital audio. Hard drives are great because you just bring it there. It's just really light. They can post it to you. They don't have to have these big courier deliveries anymore. But the thing is, it's all encrypted. So you upload it onto your server, and once it's uploaded onto the server plays it, but it has to get on the internet, and it has to speak to the film company in London, who send them a code down, and the code says you can only play the movie at this time to this time. And if you don't start the movie on time, it won't play because you haven't got a license for that time. Yeah. So it's like, that's how they do it now. So I could give you that hard drive and say, here's the latest movie. It's just come out. Here we are. You can't play it because it's got a decryption code, and it's all linked in, and it's very, very tightly controlled. So you used to be able to take those movies in the old days, and if the projectionist was up for it, you could take that and you could put it on your projector in a room and copy it off the screen, or you could take it to a telecine house, and people used to pirate movies, getting them from the cinema. So the cinema company started putting little codes in the movies, like little numbers, so they know which batch it was, which set of cinemas would have had that movie, so they knew who was pirating them and things like that. So there was all these anti-piracy methods, but it's a lot harder with the new digital systems, unless you want to actually point it at the screen, and sort of film it that way. But
And funny you just mentioned that, and you can maybe link it to what you said earlier on with the T-Link. Was it a T-Link in the cinema for people who were hard hearing, deaf? Yeah, you mentioned this. So if you could just a little.
Yeah, there's hearing aid loops. People who've got hearing aids, there's a T position on that hearing aid, and if they're using a telephone, some mobiles have got it in there. There's a loop in mobiles. Not all of them have got it. So some people who are deaf, they have to buy a certain brand of mobile phone to kind of have it. But a lot of old phones, which are magnetic, would have it. And this little T position is basically a magnetic sensor. So instead of picking up audio like a microphone, like I'm breathing out and speaking sound through the air, it's actually picking up the magnetic field instead. Okay, so it's not listening to the sound, it's picking up a magnetic field, and that magnetic field is being transmitted from the earphone of the phone into the person's hearing aid. But it doesn't work unless you put it in the T position. So normally it's listening to sound waves, yeah? But if you put it in the T position, it's listening to magnetic waves. Now, that's okay for mobile, for phones when they're held up against it. But in cinemas, a lot of people don't realize that they had these wires that go all around the roof of the cinema. And this wire is known as the magnetic loop. And there would be these systems which are in most cinemas, and the magnetic loop is there to take the soundtrack from the projector and to transmit it down in magnetic field so that anyone who switches their hearing aid into the T position hears it from the magnetic loop. Now, there's a benefit to that because whereas most of us are listening to the echo of the room, our brains are very good at removing the echo of a room and hearing. It's the same thing, like you could be in a room full of people and there's 100 people chatting, but you can still hear your friend. Yeah. But if you were to hold a tape, if you try and hold a tape recorder up in that same room and record a conversation, when you get home and listen to it, it's like it's garbled because you can hear every conversation. It's all over the. But when you're in that room, the brain is very good at like picking out the sound. But when you try to pirate a movie and you're pointing it at the screen, all you hear is just terrible tinniness and room echo because it just sounds terrible. But some of the pirates have worked out, not many of them, but some of them have worked out that you can actually get a magnetic loop inductor and you can connect that into your camera and you can hear the magnetic loop in the cinema, so you get slightly better audio. It's one way of naughtily pirating audio, and the other way is infrared, because you can ask for a headphone set and they will hand you a headphone set. If you're hard of hearing but you haven't got a hearing aid, some cinemas will give you headphones that receive on infrared, but they're all different systems, so you can't just buy a generic one and have it work. If you go to some cinemas, they'll be using this system or that system. So you know, but if you've got that system, you can have stereo, because the loop system is mono. But if you have the infrared system and you can tap into that, then you've got stereo. Now, if you were to nick one of those sets of headphones from the cinema and take them away and cut the wires to the speakers and connect those wires through resistors into a recorder, you could go back into the cinema with your infrared receivers and you could get a perfect sound recording of everything that was in that cinema. So I'm not suggesting people go in and pirate movies at all.
We're not suggesting anyone's done it, but it's a good way.
You'll get a stereo, high definition sound copy instead of all this stupid bloody, it's my microphone. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, yeah. But not so easy. You can't get the encrypted hard drives decrypted though. But for ways to kind of record stuff off the screen. But it's terrible. I would never suggest people do these things.
Oh, brilliant. I'm gonna have to shoot off, guys. Unfortunately. Times.
Okay, mate.
Times. But
check out those Bigfoots by Seth Breedlove. They're really good.
Who's that
really good stuff.
That's good. It's going to do it.
Seth Breedlove. I tell you what, look, I'll put it up on. I'll put him up on screen now. It's called. There's the Mothman of Point Pleasant is one of them. On the Trail of Bigfoot, The Search. Yeah, and there's On the Trail of UFOs as well as a good one. Yeah, and he's done a whole load of these kind of like very, you know, unless you live in the States, you would have heard of a lot of them. But in certain areas, they have their own little sort of like monster, you know, that kind of lives in the lake and things like that. And he's gone and done all these different ones. Yeah. But very good stuff.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for letting us jump on. Love your channel.
No problem. Well, yeah, thanks very much. Come back to us with some of your choices of UFO stuff, and you have to let us know what you've been watching recently.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Awesome. All right, cheers, guys. See you later.
Okay, all the best. Yeah.
Cheers. Take care.
Right. Cheers now, section 77. So, but it's a piece of piss now, really, with being a projectionist. It used to be that you had a lot of work, and it was very much you had to be a very good timekeeper. Yeah. Because if you didn't get up to there in time, the film would run through, and you just have a white screen, or you have a white screen, then it goes black as the dowser comes back in, you know. But some projectors just go white and stay white. It's just like white, 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 white until somebody comes up and turns it off, and you start the next projector. But yeah, you know, it's got to be every 40 minutes. And, you know, the ushers would come running out to find you if you cocked it up. And, you know, so you have to have a good stopwatch, and it has to be 40 minutes. It's like beep, 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 beep. And you're running up the stairs, looking through the window, starting the projector. So all that's really gone now. I mean, that's the thing of the past, unless you're showing films for, you know, nostalgia reasons. It's all digital now. And digital means hard drives or a Blu-ray disc, but it's mostly hard drives. And it not only it takes all the thinking out of it, the timing out of it, but it even turns the lights down for you now. Whereas the projection has to turn the lights down in the room, and you know, all that sort of stuff. It's like takes the lights down, does everything. You know,
sounds very
automated.
Sounds very
it's almost like you don't need a projectionist these days. I mean, he's there to make sure the equipment's working. He's not really needed to even start the projections. You know, you find now that staff who work selling the tickets in some places, you know, you could say, oh, it starts at 7:30. So at 7:30, it dims the lights for you automatically, starts the adverts, changes the tabs on the side of the screen to the right size, changes the lens over for whether it's anamorphic, or just boom, and it just starts. And at the end of it, lights come up and all that. And that can even be started, you know, that process, if it's not automatic, they can press start. The people selling the popcorn are doing it these days, you know.
I think it was one of your older videos you were in. I think it was the cinema. There's some big, it was definitely some big old projection, but the lens was still on the actual device. I was like, wow. And you were talking through it, why this and that, and other things to do with it. Yeah,
there were two lenses left in the old projector that was there in Harlech Theatre. And I think one of them said it was an anamorphic, and I was like, nah, it's not. It's a normal lens. But I think it had written on it something like, this is an anamorphic lens. And I was like, no, it's not. Because it's like if it was, it would have been squished. The images would have been squished, you know, in double the height, you know, sort of. Yeah, so it definitely wasn't anamorphic, but it was like, yeah, it's just sad, you know. But you see a projector like that, and it's like, well, you know, you can't even rent the movies. You know, if you wanted to, you go back to the big companies in London. You say, oh, we want to put on this movie. Can you send it down to us? You know, and they won't even have it on film anymore. They'll have archive copies of it, and that's it. And they're not going to send those out. So, you know, even having a projector to show old movies is irrelevant. They won't send them down to you now. It's all digital. So it's a bit sad, really, because digital is not, the quality of the image is not as high resolution as a lot of these low quality digital projectors. Because they're only doing 2K projection at the moment in most cinemas. It's only 2K, you know. And even IMAX, you know, IMAX digital, that's 2K. You know, it's 4K on some movies, and some cinemas are moving up to 4K now. But when you consider that an IMAX movie is meant to be 18K resolution, right? And they're projecting them at 2K and going, that's IMAX. It's bullshit. That's not IMAX. You know, it's not even anywhere close to being IMAX. You know, 18K versus 2K. and they say, oh yeah, well, it's about the sound. I had an argument with IMAX because I wrote to them and said, come on, these cinemas are just shit. You're putting out their 2K projectors and all that, and they came back to me and they said, it's not all about the picture, it's about the sound. I said, oh, you're saying that now because you haven't bothered with the image for a while. That's right. Yeah, but it's a beast. You see those. Have you seen the size of IMAX film? Huh. Have you seen how big it is?
I've seen 70 mil, but no
70 mil. Well, it's like double 70 mil. That's IMAX. It's double 70 mil. I mean, each square. Hang on, I've got some 70 mil up here. Look, that I thieved from a cinema somewhere.
That is quite big, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's the image, right? There's my finger, right? So you imagine 35 mil is just half of that. It's just that much across there, yeah. Just half of that. So that's double the quality. But you imagine IMAX is double that. It's like that. So that there is like IMAX. So instead of being one of those little strips, it's like that. So every one of those chunk. The biggest problem with IMAX is that it will actually destroy the film if you try to start and stop it through the gate. 70 millimeters pushing about how far you can actually go chunk, because of the physical properties of ripping. You can do it with 35 mil and 8 because it's very small, but once you get to 35 and 70, that's about the limit. IMAX, you'd actually destroy the film. So every couple of showings, you'd have to put a new film in. So they developed a new type of gate that doesn't actually start and stop. Don't know if you know about that. Do you know about that sort of thing? It doesn't start and stop the film.
Oh, so it's a continuous run.
It continually moves. And what moves is a prism that moves in time with the film and actually bends the image back and forth continuously. It bends the image and projects it as the film is moving continuously through the projector. It's the lens that moves around, not the film starting and stopping. The lens moves, and it moves at an incredibly high speed. And as it goes across, it's changing shape. It's actually changing shape because if you imagine, it's a weird concept. I know this is probably going like, what the hell's Matt talking about? But imagine if I'm looking at something, right? I want to bring something in. Somebody sent me this card. We love Matt. This is a birthday card. Anyway, if you got this, right? If you're going through the projector like this, chunk, that's in focus at all times, yeah. So okay, that's in focus. But if you're continually moving like that, and the lens is moving with you to keep pace, yeah, that's what's happening. The lens is moving through. Well, what it's doing is, as it's coming through like that on a circular plane, it's going in and out of focus. It would be going into focus and out of focus. So it'll be going like out of focus, and it'll be at a really crap angle, right? Then it'll be going into focus and out of focus. Yeah. So it's doing that. So the lens they have for IMAX actually has to see like that and stretch it back straight, and be out of focus at the bottom and in focus at the top. And as it comes down, it has to then not stretch the shape and be in focus all the way across. And then it has to stretch the shape out and be in focus at the top, but not the bottom again. And it has to, it's got this prism lens, which is just like the craziest thing ever. I mean, it's just, it's hard to make sense of it. How they worked it out, and the mathematics of how they did it is incredible. But
within our company, we've got like a couple of 4K cameras and stuff, and obviously they're going to drag the 6 and 8K out. But there's rumours and there's stories of after a certain point, your eyes will not see anything different, and people are saying after 8K you will not see any difference. It'll just be what we see now. I don't know if you've heard anything about.
It depends on the size, because again, they say like 8K, but it's like, how close are you? Because the old thing with IMAX was they didn't project like that. They projected upwards, so it was tall, and it was the whole height of the screen. So you had a huge screen, and you're sitting really close to it. So if you think about it, when you're only looking at a small area of IMAX, you could look all the way up there, all the way down there, all the way up there, all the way down there, but you're only probably looking at the middle bit, which is probably like 4 or 8K. But you've still got another 18K if you want to look up there. Well, yeah, up there's only 4K. And if you want to look here, it's only 4K. If you want to look up there, it's still 4K. It's 4K, 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 4K all the way around. That's the thing. And some of the IMAXs used to go over the top of you. So you're only looking most of the time like that. But if an aircraft flies overhead and goes behind you, yeah, well, you can look up over and you can look behind you. But it's still really sharp up there. It's really sharp above you. It's really sharp in front of you. And that's all 4K, 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 4K all the way around because it's so high res. So, yes, they're right that if it's sitting in front of you as a 50-inch screen in front of you in your house, 8K, you're probably not going to appreciate it because you're going to be there. But imagine if that screen was the size of the whole wall, yeah, and you're sitting really close to it,
then it'd be different.
You probably would notice it. Yeah, that's what IMAX was about. But that principle got lost when they started just showing normal movies in shitty cinemas.
And they're all staggering, dragging it on because remember, HD ready. Now it's 4K, and then obviously there won't be 8K for a very long time. I don't think like so.
Japan's got 8K, but I can't imagine they
Netflix stream a 4K, but it's not going to be a major. I think normal terrestrial television, they're not going to start doing 4K for a while. They'll drag it out for a little bit. Yeah,
I mean they were projecting 3D, weren't they? And in the Olympics, but then it's like, oh, look what we can do. We can press a button and we can turn on the 3D, but we're not going to give you that though because that would be too cool. So it was like, we're going to do it for the Olympics to show we can do it. But we're not really going to do that because we're tight asses, and that's what it comes down to a lot of the time is production costs because television, a lot of the time, is down to how much it's going to cost to produce these things. And I mean, if you start shooting in 8K, the computers that you've got to deal with and the editing stuff and the cameras and everything. And if you're shooting in 3D, you've got to have 2 cameras and then it all has to be edited exactly the same on both cameras. All the special effects have to be perfect for both eyes. And then once you go and broadcast it, it's like some systems might not be right. Like in some countries, it might look correct in 3D for that frame rate, and it might not look very good in the States. And it's like, so it's just all sorts of nightmares that come in with ways you do, ways you process things. And I think a lot of the time, they just say, do you know what? Let's just go back to 24 frames a second, and let's just do it that way. And we'll just make it universal so it look like we know how to do this. If we keep introducing all these new formats, then we're all constantly tripping ourselves up with it looks good for us, but how do we sell it to the States? Or if we make it for the States, it looks shit for us, and it's like, yeah. So they're always constantly, I think we need to calm down on some of this stuff. I mean, 4K is probably the limit we need. We don't need much higher than that. That's like the limit. We could probably go for higher frame rates, maybe. I think they did an experiment, actually. Douglas Trumbull, the guy who did 2001, the Space Odyssey and all that sort of stuff. They did an experiment, and I think Steven Spielberg and a number of others, big directors, they brought them into a room, and they showed them what Douglas Trumbull, the guy who invented all these cameras and technology, he said, this demonstration is what I think you should be filming on. Right, and they showed this very high resolution, very high frame rate format, and he said this is as close to real life as you can get. Right, we've tested it. We think that you can't see beyond this. This is the highest sort of thing, and everyone said it was amazing. Spielberg and all that said it's absolutely amazing. It's wonderful. It looks like real life. It's brilliant. But they had all said nobody's going to do it because it's too expensive, because it's too many frames a second. It's too high resolution. The type of film canisters you'd have to be processing, the money to produce those film canisters, to ship to all the cinemas and everything. It goes back to the lowest common denominator. 35mm was the best quality for the lowest cost with the lowest frame rate you could get away with to project on the biggest screen. and it hasn't been beaten.
Yeah.
It hasn't been beaten. So, you know, these days we can go higher res with digital. It doesn't cost much money because you haven't got film costs and all that sort of stuff. But realistically, there is a cost because of the bandwidth, you know, and we're going to have bigger internet connections and faster internet connections and all this sort of stuff. So there is a cost. And the cost is that you're going to have less channels transmitting in the higher quality, or you can have more channels transmitting in the lower quality. So there is a cost. And I think 2K, 4K is about the best you're going to see, unless they start using higher quality compression techniques that are not observable, that don't degrade the image. I think we're going to be stuck on 2K, 4K. And I think 8K is overkill, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. I've got a friend, a cameraman friend of ours. His camera can film on Sony Venice. I think it's 6K. Mm-hmm. We've got a FX9, FS700. They're all, but yeah, I don't think anything above 4K. Plus, people don't want it. The stuff that we're doing and filming, documenting, no, they don't want it 4K. The only reason we'll film a 4K interview is because you can punch in.
Yes.
Because they want it at 1020, 1080, sorry. So we can punch in. So it looks like you've got a different camera angle, or a different second camera. Even though we might have 2 or 3, but that one angle, because you can punch in, it looks like you've got an extra camera.
That's right. Yeah. And a lot of people shoot on 4K, and then they actually output at 2K because, I mean, it gives you that better quality. Once you've edited it a few times and you've bounced it back and forth a few times into things, then you scoop it down to 2K. It looks like a perfect quality original. Whereas, you know, if you saw it at 4K, you'd notice it was jumping back and forth quality, because if you shot it in 4K and edited it, and there's different 4K cameras and all that, when you see that on 4K, you go, oh, that's a different camera, that's a different camera, that's a different camera. But when you shoot it 4K on a few different cameras and then you bounce it down to 2K, it looks like a perfect 2K. But yeah, it's not necessarily what people think. They think, oh, 4K cameras, that's for shooting, broadcasting in 4K. Not necessarily. A lot of people who want to broadcast 4K shoot in 8K to broadcast in 4K. Yeah. You know, but they won't. They're not going to broadcast. They never intentionally would want it for broadcast in 8K. They need that to punch in, as you say, and to have options. They like to film wide so they don't miss anything, you know, as well. It's like, you know, when they're doing action shots, they would often use 35mm cameras and things like that, and they would just keep them wide, you know, but it's for television purposes. So why shoot on a 35mm camera for TV? Because it's too high quality. It's because they don't want to miss an explosion or an action shot. So they film wide. And then when they go to edit it, they punch in, and then they just pan around that. It's because they don't want to miss the shot, you know. Yeah. So it's not for what people think it is, you know. No.
It's been a bit of a
fascinating, but we're off on tangents here, which are nothing to do with the Secret Vault, but is part of my hobby and interest. My
apology.
No. I love it. I love it. They say, why can't I watch this in HD? Because I have to pay StreamYard to have a subscription, because they only do it 720, and if I pay them, it's not a great amount, then I can stream 1080. But if I stream 1080, it might also jerk a bit because I haven't got maybe the high enough bandwidth. But anyway, yes, I could stream probably in 4K if I wanted to.
I've seen
it. Some people would have it jerking then. But
I don't know what video it was today or two. So people were commenting, why 340? Why? There was a lot of comments. You uploaded something 340. Yeah.
Last night, right? I edit and produce my stuff in H.265. I've only found this out recently, and YouTube do not tell you anywhere. Have a look, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm really into my editing stuff. This is like black art stuff, okay? H.265 is what YouTube is running on, okay? They don't tell you this, but it is. How do I know this? Because if you upload H.264, as I used to, because that's what they tell you, we want H.264, upload H.264. If you upload H.264 high def footage, it takes ages to render it before it becomes HD and you can show it to people. So you've got to wait hours and hours and hours before you can show it. So I was like, what is this H.265? You know, and I was like, because my drone's shooting it, and I was like, okay, and newer cameras are kind of H.265, but it takes a lot of processing power. But I was like, well, what if I produce a H.265 and upload it? And it was like, bam, HD immediately, no wait time. I was like, so I looked on YouTube help, nothing. They don't mention it, yeah. But trust me, render your stuff as H.265 and upload it and see if I'm wrong, right? Boom, instant HD. So I've been enjoying the fact that the moment I upload things and they're 100%, it goes like 99%, 100%. It's like it says SD, 5 minutes later, boom, HD, ready to go. So last night I made the mistake of uploading it and expecting it to go immediately HD. So I started the Premiere 15 minutes early because I thought, oh, it'll be ready. And it stayed 340. I was like, shit. And it was like 340 an hour later. We were still watching the premiere. It was still 340. I was refreshing it. Still 340. 7 o'clock in the morning, it was still 340. I think by about 10 o'clock in the morning, it went to HD. So I don't know. It was a YouTube thing. They probably had some servers down or something. Don't know why, but it took forever. But normally, I can upload something HD and it's instantly, boom, straight on. H.265. They don't tell you this. YouTube runs on H.265 and they don't tell you why. I don't know. Google or weird.
Hiding something.
Because there's no processing involved. Basically, it just looks at your footage and it goes right. Well, it's already HD. It's already in H.265. I can just play it. Boom. That's it. It's like, because there's no way if it takes me an hour to render that footage and I upload it to YouTube, the moment it's finished the file, then it would have to render it. There's no way it can go bloop, and it's ready to go. So it's obviously YouTube runs on H.265. They just don't want people to know that for some reason. I don't know why, but it does.
Shocking.
So I wish I'd known that years ago, or it might be a recent thing, but I wish I'd known that a while back. So I just used to upload my stuff, and I'd be waiting like 8 hours, you know, to kind of like refresh. Is it gone up yet? Is it gone up yet? It takes forever. It takes absolutely forever. And of course, H.265 is half the size of the files, so it uploads quicker. It's better looking than H.264. It does look better. It can do 10-bit color, and it can do up to 4K. H.264 doesn't really like to be 4K. It can do it, but it's not designed for it. So H.265 is fully compliant with 4K, 10-bit HDR. You know, it's got all that.
If you uploaded an uncompressed 4K, would they completely compress it? You wouldn't get the full. Yeah, you wouldn't get the full.
Yeah, they decimate it quite a lot. Yeah. And a 4K is quite a nasty format in many ways. You know, the way it compresses, it's quite ruthless. The way it chops things up into what they call 4 cc's. It means that, I mean, it's naughty, really. If you imagine like 2K footage, it's all split up into sections of 4. So it's 4 pixels, then another 4 pixels, then another 4 pixels. But it runs quick enough so your eye doesn't notice it. But it's actually a quarter of the 2K quality you think. So it's actually more like, you know, it's more like 700 by 4. You know, it's slightly higher than 500, but it's like 700 pixels by 4 regions. You know, like they say, like HD goes into 4K 4 times. Yeah. Well, 2K is actually a quarter of the quality of 2K. Because of the way that it compresses it with this 4 cc. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's called 4 cc, the way it does it. But it's actually, it takes 4 sets of pixels and looks for things that look similar to each other and compares the pixels for ones that look similar to each other and copies them. So it's not really true 4 pixels of actual resolution. It's 4 average pixels out of 4 by 4 by 4 by 4 by 4, which means it's a quarter of the quality. So 2K is actually more like a very fast moving, slick 500 pixels. But it's not. This is why people go, what's RAW then? RAW is actually every single pixel is actual information. Yeah. But all these MP4s, H.264s, they're all a quarter of the quality of the actual camera. So, you know, they're pretty low quality, really. A lot of these MP4s and H.264s. H.265 is a bit better, but none of them are raw.
Raw files are just, if it's just talking photography for a second. So a JPEG to a normal raw file, the difference is so big. So video.
This is why if you get a JPEG and you zoom it in, you see these square blocks, and they all look like they've got a cross in them, you know, and it's like chung and chung, and they all got this square 4cc in them. The cinema projectors, they actually thought, oh, we need to be a bit better than this. They still use JPEG, but they use a higher quality format, which is fractal based. It's not using this 4cc, it's using fractals. It's called JPEG 2000. And that's what is kind of the basis behind cinema projectors. And that is nearer real pixels, but it's still not brilliant. It's not actual every pixel is every pixel. So when you go and see a cinema movie, it's like, you know, you're not seeing 2K even with a cinema thing. It's not far off it, but it's not 2K, you know. So I mean, television, a lot of people talk about like television, a lot of TV programs are 720p stretched up to be 2K. They're not 2K even, and they're not progressive. So they do the interlace. So every other line is part of the 50 frames a second speed. So it's half resolution. So straight away, you've got 4cc, you've got this by 4. So 2K, divide that quality by 4. Then take the fact that it's interlace, which is every other line is part of the extra frame. So it's by 8. So it's 2K divided by 8 is what HD television is. If HD television was every single pixel is the real information, it'd look a hell of a lot better than it does.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And plus, normal television anyway is still SD, like your average normal TV. Unless you've got on HD, Sky News HD or whatever, it's still just SD. Yeah,
I mean they use a lot of visual perceptive techniques to fool the eye into thinking they're seeing more than they actually are. But yeah, it's we've got a long way to go till we get to what you could call real 2K, real 1920 by 1080. You know, yeah, television doesn't transmit progressive raw 2K. We get compressed interlace 720 scanned up to 2K a lot of the time. It's not what it's meant to be. I mean, to be honest, the stuff you get off the internet is actually a lot higher quality. Like Netflix and things like that are actually much higher than broadcast in the UK, and satellite. They're much higher quality.
Yeah, this Netflix has said you stream 4K, and you myself, like I've got a big screen in front of me, 55-inch 4K, but is it really? Is it really? If I put Netflix on now on that big screen, is that really 4K? It's not really.
Well, it's H.265 for sure, because they cannot get the bandwidth down. It's got to be H.265 because, you know, that's the only way they can do it. I mean, I know Sky, there's Sky boxes, you know, like you can say, I want to watch a movie on demand and all that sort of stuff. That's all H.265. Yeah. So.
Seems a big con.
Yeah. What? Somebody's sending me some sort of message. Okay. Somebody's moaning at me on. Yeah, I'll deal with that later. But it should be a good day tomorrow. It's going to be an exciting day. I pray to the God. I pray to Bob Dobbs. Where is he? Where's Bob? I don't know. I ain't got Bob around me at the moment. I pray to. Hang on. Let me just get you the Church of the Subgenius up so I can show you Bob. So every day should be. So it's subgenius.com. Subgenius.com. I'll bring you in on this now, so you can see Bob, because this is my church, the Church of the Subgenius. This is what I'm a reverend minister of this church, and they believe in Slack. So I'm gonna bring you in on it now. So here we are. Look, Church of the Subgenius, right? That's Bob there. Let me show you Bob. This is Bob. And Bob is not just a graphic, although some people have conspired to say he is just a graphic. Yeah, that's the head of the Church of the Subgenius. You know, there aren't many real photos of Bob, so that's one of the only kind of things they have. But yeah, Bob preaches that you have slack in your life, and I certainly have plenty of slack in my life. But I'm praying to Bob. Right, so check out www.subgenius.com. You can pay $30 and you become a reverend minister of the Church of Slack, right? Not everyone's going to understand what I'm on about here, but check it out, right? So I'm praying to Bob to give me some slack so I'm not getting ripped off with a motor or a boat that is fucked tomorrow, right? And they're hiding shit from me and they're taking my money and they're just sailing me down the river with some shit, right, that I'll have to deal with myself later on when I find out what's really going on. So I'm hoping and praying that we get a good boat, right, with no aggro, so I can just go and do some mad explores. So that's what I'm praying for. So what are you up to that requires a level of faith soon?
No faith really. Not so much faith in my life.
No faith.
Yeah.
Faith in your computer, faith in the power supply.
I have faith in everything, but not just religion, unfortunately.
So yeah. Well, I'm going to get ready to probably go to bed, I suppose, and go and see about a boat tomorrow.
Yeah, cool. Are you going to upload a video about it, and you're following those?
Yeah, I could film it, I suppose. I could film my day going to get the boat. I never thought about that, actually. I could film.
You should do, yeah.
I could go and film. Am I being screwed sideways, or am I getting a good deal? Yeah.
I say film it. Film the whole thing and then upload it as a new video.
Okay.
You definitely should do.
Yeah. It's been hard to get hold of the bloke because he seems like, you know, he's, even though there's like loads of money involved and you know, he's just like a busy man, you know, and he's like doesn't answer his bloody text. It's like the guy that messed me around tonight, which gives me like bad feelings. It's like, oh really? Or is it too much time? Too much time for you, is it, mate? Is it really? Oh, whatever. So yeah, hopefully when I get there tomorrow, and he was like, he gave me a small window. Yes, I said I could do it yesterday. Today. But he gave me a small window, and then he never got back in touch with me. And I'm like, what? So I said, well, I'll do it tomorrow instead. You know, we'll have a bigger window because I want to look at it and I want to see the engine running and. You know, not like the last guy. He was just like, you know, quickly. So like, yeah, here's the engine. Go. And then it was like, yeah, and no, any problems with it? Get in touch, mate. Yeah. And it was like, yeah, no, fuck you. You know, I don't want to hear from you. Yeah, when I get a problem. So, yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Thank you
So hopefully, Bob, give me some slack.
I'll pray to Bob that you'll get some slack.
There we are. Pray to Bob. And quit your job and pray to Bob. So that's what it's all about. Church of the Subgenius.
Well, try and film it.
I'll try and film it. And yes, there we are. Look, Nightlife UK says we're praying to Bob. There we are. Look, see, we have a convert. Yeah. And Enki says, Matt, take it for a test run. Well, yeah, be nice. But is the guy going to take it out for a test run, or are we just going to like, you know, chat shit? And yeah, I might be lucky. I just hope it's not one of these like I just because I know bullshit when I see it. You know, I know bullshit, but what can you do? It's like, yes, I'm going to ask him to see the engine running, but when I get there, is the battery going to even be charged? You know what I mean? And there's going to be some sort of fucking excuse my language. So I'm just going to I'm going to have to eyeball. Can I get this running? You know, or is it going to be like, you know what, mate? You know, because I don't know, because I know bullshit artists, but it's like, what do you do? Do you say, well, I tell you what, then I'll let you charge that battery, mate, which is what you should have done when I came down here. And actually, yeah, we can get a bucket of water and we can test the engine in it, which is what I thought we'd be doing. Paperwork, You don't have any, really? You put in the advert it's been serviced. So what items were serviced? You don't know. Oh, hello. You know, so I'm just like, you know, I'm 7 stages ahead, but it doesn't, you know, dealing with wankers does not make it any easier because they're not going to be giving you the answers. So do you do it or do you walk away? I can deal with their problems, but I don't want to have to.
Yeah.
You know?
I hope you film it.
Yeah.
Well,
I hope so too. Yeah.
You can show a little preview of what's coming next.
Yeah, well, we can film the boat, and then we'll have to film me getting an immersion suit, like a dry suit, and then hopefully we'll be filming me ripping around with my dog on the boat, and then maybe I'll be going around the UK on the boat. I'll be exploring various places.
Looking very much forward to it.
I am too, yeah. But it's getting to be cold, so I'm definitely going to need that dry suit, I think. Otherwise, you're going to have a dead floating vault. Otherwise.
Well, thank you very much for letting me on. Big fan of the channel.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks.
I've always promoted your name in your channel.
Thanks, mate.
Whatever I can do to help as well. I will.
Thank you, mate. Thanks, and thank you to all these crazy bastards who've been sending like ridiculous amounts of money. I mean,
thank you very much.
Maybe this is a thing. They like when I go, I'm not happy. Somebody pissed me off, and then it's like all this money starts like whoosh. Maybe it's like a church, you know. See, it's the Church of Subgenius. Maybe I need to say, do you know what? You need to like send us your money. I'm not happy with life. I'm not happy with life. I'm going to quit my job, and then they start sending the money in. You see, so yeah, maybe I have to find a routine. What did they send money most for? I'm pissed off. Somebody's made me upset. I've just lost lots of money. Whoosh. Yeah, we'll have to work out a formula. No, I'm only kidding. I'd be doing these explores with or without the cash you send, folks. But it is nice. It's very nice because it definitely goes in the tank for petrol. So yeah, cool. That's where the money goes, isn't it? It's not going into boats. It's going in petrol. I spent a lot more on petrol than I have on boats. So yeah.
I have 4% battery.
You do?
I have 4% battery on this. It's going to go any second.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, you're on a mobile, are you?
I'm not plugged in. I'm just like laptop.
Oh, it's a laptop. Right. Yeah, okay. I was going to say 4%. Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. Big fan of your channel.
If I can get up to your way, Liverpool, I will. And it sounds like you've got some interesting places up there. So
I'll email you some information.
Yeah.
All right.
Good stuff, man.
Thank you very much, Matt.
All the best. Yeah, thanks for coming on. It's been a good one. You seem like a sound guy. Cheers, man.
See you, man.
All the best. Yeah. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So, yeah, folks, thanks. Like, subscribe. Don't subscribe. Subscribe, then unsubscribe. I don't know. Subscribe 3 times, then unsubscribe. I don't know. Maybe it works. Maybe you beat the algorithm. Maybe you'll escape the matrix if you try these things. Tell you what, click like and dislike really quickly together, right? And then unsubscribe. And then you probably reach the next level then. It's like Donkey Kong. You've got to like hit it really fast and then subscribe. And then you reach the next level. And that's where you get to see the real videos on this channel. So, okay. Thanks very much. And I'm going to get some sleep. Need me sleep. Get ready in the afternoon to go and get a boat. So, yeah. All the best. Oh, but well, I'll tell you what. Before I go, because I'm being naughty, really. Hang on. Get one of these. I've done so much snuff. It's like popping out my nose now. When you do loads of snuff, it just comes out. Anyway, right. Hang on. Sorry. Just thought there was something hanging out of my nose then. Good. My tea leaf. Only one church, and it's What's Happening Now, You tea leaf. I have no idea what they're on about. Good luck with the boat. Sounds great. Matt, good night. Yeah, I am a tea leaf. Look what I stole. I stole this off the floor of the Odeon Cinema in Bournemouth. Look Look at me. I am such a naughty boy. I stole this. Why? I did. I stole it. I would totally admit to it. If you want to report me to the police, I would admit that I stole this because it's only a foot of film, right? And I've never actually, even though I'm a projectionist, handled 70mm film, and it's got magnetic stripes down the edge, right? So it's mine. I stole it. I am a tea leaf. But being a projectionist, this is, nobody's going to miss it. It's like 1 foot of film off the floor of an old cinema. Anyway, yes, I am a complete tea leaf. I would admit it. I would admit. Matt, crazy disconnection, they say. Is it really? Okay. But yeah. I was going to go and have a look through your comments, wasn't I, to make sure there was something, if there was anything there that I'd missed. Refreshed. Your chat keeps freezing. Don't they use 21.9 aspect ratio? I've never heard of that one. No, it's 235? 235 aspect. I don't know, for anamorphic. Is it 235 to 1? I don't know. Or 2.35. 2.35 to 1? Is it? It's not going to be 235, is it? It's 2.35 to 1, I think it is, for anamorphic. Yeah, it says the chat is crashing. Oh, is it really? Oh, sorry. This is old messages, by the way. Oh. Did I ever go to Box Tunnel just down the road from Rudlow Manor? Did I ever think of going to Box Tunnel? Well, do you mean Box Quarry, which is Burlington, Spring Quarry, all that sort of area? I've already done it. If you're on about the Box Tunnel, the railway tunnel, yes, I've done that too. And I have ducked in on the side as the intercity trains go whoosh, whoosh. There's 2 rail lines going through there. And yes, I have done that and walked the whole length of the tunnel. It takes an hour to walk from one end of the tunnel to the other. Yes, I've done it. It's not too bad, actually. You can lie down next to the track and the trains go over the top and they won't hit you. You've got plenty of room. It's just scary. It's very scary if you kind of, it's going to be loud, isn't it? It's a tunnel, yeah. But I don't recommend anybody try it. But you don't really need to run for these things, these little archways, these duck-ins. You don't need that because you can just lie down on the floor next to the track, as close to the wall as possible, and the train will go over the top, and it's fine. But don't say I said, and don't try it, because I take no responsibility for your death. So, Richard Warnock, I'm being blocked. Have you? You're not here. I haven't blocked you. Doesn't say you are. HDTV is 720 upscale to 1080i, and then your TV upscales to 1080, and then your television probably also does the upscaling it to high frame rates as well. So yeah, it's all bloody upscale bollocks. A lot of it. It's not really full res. Yeah. So virtual super resolution. Yes, super res. That's an interesting concept. Yeah, I like that. Super res. Streaming is basically downloading whilst you watch. 4K uses gigabits per second, hence why it lags, because the internet is megabits per second. Yeah. Take it for a test run first. Yeah, I'm going to try if I can. But yeah. So that's some of the stuff in the. Haven't you seen the EWF piss take video? What's that then? John D says. What is that? The EWF piss take video. No, I don't. EWF strange sounds at York Bradford. No, I don't know about this. but I'd like to watch it. They've been piss take videos out of my stuff. It's all right. Let them take the piss. Let them take the piss, because they are sitting in their armchairs taking the piss whilst we are out there doing stuff. Have I got any videos of Angle coming soon? Of Angel, I think that Angle. Yeah, I have to decipher and decrypt your bad spelling. Right, any videos of Angel? Angel coming? Well, I hope not. Not that sort of videos. Hopefully, I don't know. We could give her a call, but I am going to need treats for her. Anyway, I got all this crap on my bed. I've got to tidy my bed before I go to sleep. Right, so I've got beer cans and beer and this. I've got a mirror. I've got a bag of stuff. I've got Servisol 70 isopropanol. I've got a bowl, and I got memory cards, and I got loads of other shite. So I've got to clean all that off the bed, and then I can go to sleep. But I should wear this soon. I should try and wear this on an Explore. I should have to, but I don't want to ruin it really, which is part of the problem. So I will try and wear that on an Explore, I reckon, because I think a few of you went and got that for me. So it's very kind of you. I am not worthy, but I should wear it out there for fun, so I look like a complete idiot wearing like Spurg clothing. But yes. Right, well, thank you very much for watching. I suppose it's time I gotta chuck all this shit. Do you want to know what my my nightly ritual is? Here's my nightly ritual. Stuff is on the bed. Stuff goes on my chair so I can go to sleep. In the morning, stuff comes off the chair onto the bed so I can do work. And then stuff comes off my bed onto the chair, from the chair to the bed, bed, chair, chair, bed, chair. That is how I live my life. So, yeah, my nightly ritual is just about to begin. I have to put the stuff from the bed onto the chair, ready for the morning when it will go back onto the bed. This is good. We do this. This is a thing. So, yeah, no rest for the wicked. No, definitely not. Yeah, what did you think of my video? Urban Legend says, what did I think of your video? Well, I've already seen it, so I know what I think of your video. But I suppose Urban Legend wants me to promote his video. What did I think of your video? It was good. It was good, but there was a lot of walking down a tunnel, which was very samey. I think once it started to get scary, it was interesting. But like walking up a tunnel, yeah, was a bit samey. But hey, you know. But I knew what was coming, which was the interesting bit, which was you all shitting your pants and running because the sluice gates opened and you nearly got killed. Yeah, that got interesting. But apart from that, yeah, I did like seeing the frogs as well. I was like, there's loads of frogs there, and talking about eels. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting video, but it was interesting because you nearly died, you know? So yeah, I mean, it's like, I suppose, pushing a camera up a pipe, unless there's demons up there, or I don't know, unless there's demons or you know, gold bars or something. Walking up a pipe is going to look like walking up a pipe. But when it gets interesting is when you nearly die. Yeah, that's the interesting bit. So yeah. But I wouldn't recommend you go doing that again until you find out a bit more about those sewage works. Maybe even try and speak to some people who work for the sewage company or the water board and find out a little bit more about it, because they probably know when things are going to come down there, if they're going to open sluices, and you might be able to get some inside information if you're going to go and do that again off the record. Because I reckon that is a dangerous pastime myself. That is a dangerous pastime. What you were doing there was a lot more dangerous, I think, really, than us going out in the boats, even at night. Yeah. I was a bit worried. I did tell you, didn't I? You said to me, do I want to come down that tunnel? And I said to you a couple of times, I said, and what happens when they open the sluice gates? Remember me having this conversation with you? And then what happened? You nearly got flushed to your death. So yeah, we had this conversation. But I'm glad you tested the water there. Thank you very much for that. So yeah, check out the Urban Legend and like and subscribe to his near-death experience video. It's worth a look. It takes a long time to get going, but when it gets going, it's good because you'll see some people pooping themselves. Yeah. And as I said to him, if you only connected a tube to your butt, the gas that was coming out of it and the poo that was coming out, it would have repelled you even faster because you were all crapping yourselves once that water started coming down there. So yeah, that was good. We like it. You're still alive, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But yeah, I would be thinking about finding out a bit more about that before you go doing that again. Yeah, definitely not for yeah, just be careful. Be careful. Okay, so all good. I think we're there now. I think we got all the comments up to date, didn't we? Froze again. It's frozen. Secret Vault. Really? I'm frozen. Try another chat. Oh, I see. Take Andrew proving demons up that pipe. The fish would scare him. They would actually, yeah. Yeah, he'd be very scared. Yeah. Is there a video releasing now? I saw a... Oh, well, actually, I'm going to re-upload the... I'm just about to re-upload the Real Cinema Plymouth because for some reason I edited in 2 clips which was wrong, you know. So you're watching it and you're getting excited and interested, and then all of a sudden it jumps back to a clip and you got 10 minutes of something you saw earlier on which was wrong. So I'm going to re-upload that in a bit, but no, that's not just yet. That'll be later on. So this is why you see me take these videos down and they go private and then they pop back up and people say, I've seen this one before. It's because I make mistakes. I'm not perfect, so I have to take these things down, especially when I watch them on a premiere. I watch them with everybody. I'm like this. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, no. Look, and I'm like, shit. Because you have to watch it when you're filming it, then you have to watch it when you're editing it, then you have to watch the edit and take close notice, and then when you premiere it, you still notice mistakes. So that's like at least 4 watches. So yeah, it gets a bit much. Anyway, okay, guys, we'll catch you later. What's this? Have you uploaded the Soviet Hotel where you climb up the ladder singing "Come On Baby Light My Fire"? The Soviet Hotel. Soviet. You mean Solent? Solent. I haven't yet. No, I haven't managed to do it. Yeah. So we will get round to that very soon. It's a bit of an epic edit, and there are two things. So I'll give you a sneak preview of it now. Hang on, I'll just bring some up. I'll give you a sneak preview because you've asked, right? I'll give you a sneak preview, which you shouldn't be getting, but because you asked, I will acquiesce. Where are they now? Hang on, I think it's here. Yep. Which one's first? This one's first. Right, I'll give you a... No, oh, it's not there, actually. Let me just bring you over here. Right. Output. Here's the output folder. Right, which one? Final 4K V2. This one. Here we go, Ant. Right, I'll give you a sneak preview. Right, it's kind of edited, but it's not right, so I can't put it out yet. It's a big edit, and I don't want to stick it out if it's wrong. So let me bring you on full screen, give you a preview. Oh, hang on, what do I think of your video? That's still up on the screen. Let me just get rid of that. There we are. Show. Right, okay, so show screen, screen 1. Right, hopefully you get this. Oh, I tell you what, hang on. don't I have to do something with the audio? Because the audio doesn't come up when I do these things. Let me just stop that. Because doesn't the audio not come out? I've done this before. Share screen. Yeah. And don't I have to say allow audio? Isn't there something like allow audio? Somebody told me about how to do it. But it's not there. Cam mic. Hang on. Cam mic. Show advance? No. Audio. Disable audio processing. Green screen. Guest. General. I hope you can hear the audio. If you can't hear the audio on this, it's because I still don't know how to do it. But right, there we are. Right, so I'll just play you a little bit. We'll see if you can get some of this. So there we are. There we go. So this is where we're going to go and explore. Look, it's a boat. It's a boat. That's where we are. Look, boat. Right. Whoa. Right. So. Oh. Right. So. Oh my God! Secret footage. Oh my God, folks! Look! Look! Secret footage, folks. Tunnels. Look, we go into places you're not supposed to go. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Look, cartridge rooms. Wow. Look, folks. Look, folks. Oh, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing in this place. You are not going to believe what you're going to see in this place. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So, and there we are. My battery died. So, there we are at the end. Yeah, it's a spit fort like no other. It's a very posh spit fort. So there we go. So you've seen a little bit of it now. That's part of it, and that's just one of two. That's just one of two, right? Do you want me to just? Oh, go on. I'll show you. I'll show you the other one as well. Hang on. I'll show you the other one. I don't even know if there's audio on. I don't know if you're getting audio. Let me just take you to the second one. I mean, I have edited these, but they're not quite right. Spitfort, that's Horsebank. Actually, I haven't edited the second one, so I haven't edited it. I'm going to have to show you raw footage here because I haven't edited the second one. So this is raw footage, which obviously doesn't have the color correction applied to it, so it looks very gray at the moment. So you'll have to excuse me, but here we are. We'll give you a little, oops, hiccuping. We will give you a taster of what's to come. Can you see this? Whoops. Can you see it? Yeah, it's coming. So, Kaylee Colston explores. Look at all this. All right. Right. All right. Let's go forward. All right. Forwards. That's Aish, exploring with Aish. And this is a spit fort. All right. So, look at these spit forts. Look how posh it is. All right. Oh my God. Oh my God. You are not going to believe what's on these spit forts, right? So that's it. I'm not going to show you anymore, right? So that should just like, Matt, I need a cleaner. No, I need a bigger house. Trust me, when I had a bigger place, I never had shit on my bed. I cannot function as a human being in a confined space. I can't do it. So what it ends up being is stuff gets shifted around because I can't function properly. Yeah. So anyway, freezing up. They're all saying it's freezing up, freezing up. Audio isn't coming through. Yeah. There we go. So there we go. We shall see you soon. Perhaps with better audio, perhaps better presenter, better secret vault, better. But for now, it's shit. But it's all we've got. So thanks very much. Catch you soon. Good night.